And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Rolling up. Roger, roll, Atlantic.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Fighting downside FD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange! 125!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Amazing!
Put that in the big bag, you know.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
If the methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Hello and welcome to another NSF live stream. You are looking at Starship 30 sitting proudly on Suborbital Pad B. There has been an overpressure notice delivered today, and so that means that SpaceX is aiming to conduct some sort of engine testing, likely a static fire, with this brand spanking new Starship. So it's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful ship, so we went live. I see the 5x5s in chat. Thank you everybody for that, so I know that you can hear me loud and clear. And as always, it's not just me on the stream. We have the whole crew out. Who do we have on today's stream? Is it Alex and Adrian?
That's correct.
So it's the full
your
Chaos crew. It's the it's the Chaos crew, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, if you guys have any questions, be sure to type at NASASpaceflight in chat, and we'll see your question pop up in some nifty software that somebody wrote. But yeah, the recondenser is active. Adrian, is that where we're at? Give us like a play-by-play. What's happened so far today? Because I know we did get sort of faked out earlier.
Oh yeah, it's a funny day so far. So what has happened so far is SpaceX announced the road closure for today, which happened. There was a road closure, and we also got an overpressure notice. So that's the kind of indicators you get, like, we are getting some ship testing, right? Well, first they started to test the orbital tank farm for hours, where we just saw the orbital tank farm going through all its bases, and we saw things moving, and we saw vaporizers vaporizing, and tanks tanking, and vents venting. Everything was going on there. And then we got a second fake out, where the suborbital tank farm started, and the ship actually got a frost ring. But we didn't spot any recondenser activity, which means that SpaceX apparently sneaked in a little cryo test in there, like a little proof test potentially, and maybe did like a small little verification of the system before moving into today's, let's say, business end. I think today really the word business end really fits what we are usually meaning with it. So yeah, we had multiple hours at this point of testing, but yes, now the recondenser is active. Now we have all the signs in place for what we expect to be a static fire of ship 30.
Excellent. Well, it is a good day anytime we get to see a rocket tested in Starbase, which is like increasingly very often. So a lot of good days, which is a good thing. Alex, this is going to be the ship used for Flight 5, right?
Yeah, if they don't skip any vehicles, which I hope they don't, then this will be for Flight 5. Yep.
This is it like, can we just take a moment to appreciate this fact? Like, we are still waiting on Flight 4, of course. Like, we want to see that. It's not happening yet. But how awesome is it to already see activity preparing for Flight 5 and kind of closing that system? I mean, if this is a static fire today, and if the static fire is successful, I know there's a bit of an if chain here, but if that all is correct, then this might be the closeout test for the upper stage for Flight 5. I mean, that's crazy, right? They're finishing partial testing of a stage before the flight before that has even flown.
Yeah, that's
Which means
Go ahead, Alex.
I was gonna say, which means they, all the time between flight 4 and 5, they have all of that to work on this ship, and essentially ready for flight. Maybe introduce whatever they learn from flight 4. Essentially, what they are doing right now with Ship 29. Ship 29 also went out to the pad to perform testing. It did not get the static fire done before flight 3 though. But it went out for static fire testing. It only did spin prime, again, because they were running out of time. That spin prime happened essentially 3 days before flight 3. They were already very thin in time. But now they have plenty of time. It seems like at least Ship 29 and Booster 11 have a little bit to go for flight 4. So they have some time here to test Ship 30. It's going to be a little bit of effort to to make one, used to say 30 now, because it's been so long with Ship 20, 24, 25 that, the 20 something already appears. But yeah, the interesting thing is that now whatever time they have between flight 4 and 5 can be spent on things like repairing the heat shield, testing the tiles, making sure that all of the systems are up to spec, that they are good to go, right? And like looking through all the data from flight 4 and making sure that the ship is all good to go as well, right? It leaves them a lot of quality time, as one will say, right? That is not something that has happened in the past.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see them ramp up the testing flow and get this stuff done before the next flight. And at some point, I feel like unless things are smoothed out, there could be a gap in between like flight or version 1 flights and version 2 flights.
Yeah.
So the more that they can pre-test with all the vehicles and then, I don't know, stick them in the rocket garden and free up the production site for version 2 vehicles as soon as possible, because it sort of feels like we're getting close. Hopefully there's not like a big gap between the things.
I feel like the weird to non-weird objects at the production site ratio is slightly going up. So that means for me that there is a potential that they are moving into they're getting ready certainly to start the whole V2 production. Of course, and that's the other part here. Like we probably expect them to run into some issues with it, some delays. It's not gonna be as fast as they are right now initially, but like it's this weird to non-weird hardware ratio that is going up. So there's potential that the gap might be. I hope the gap is like a few weeks and not a few months. That's my hope here.
Yeah, and we saw, at least for the Star Factory side of things, we saw them already scrapping like two ring barrel sections and things like that. That seemed to be probably to test all of the tooling inside of the Star Factory to be able to produce these sort of multi-ring barrel sections. But once you have those barrel sections and you have all that tooling already qualified to make barrel sections, now you need to qualify the tooling to join those barrel sections together, and that is inside of the Mega Bay 2. And today Mary got a picture of one of these development barrel sections that are going to be putting together and try to go through the qualification of all the hardware that they have at Mega Bay 2 to build version 2 of the ship. So that's going to be interesting, because then that means once that's qualified, they'll probably roll out the first barrel sections for the first V2 of a Starship, the first second version of a Starship, and then we're going to see a lot more construction ramping up.
Exciting times. Exciting times. I haven't seen a question about it because our software is kind of acting silly, but what's going on with Ship 26? That's kind of like the elephant in the room. I know Ship 30 is the star of the show today, as we wait for fuel to get loaded on it and something to happen. But like Ship 26 in Mega Bay 2, and then last night they rolled the ship static fire stand from Massey's. to the same. So, what the heck? I don't know. What do you think? I'll let you go. I'll let you go first, Adrian.
I feel like it's shaping up to be more and more of this verification test article. Like it's that's at least what I'm feeling right now. Of course, the best cause of it would be to completely scrap it and get rid of it. I mean, we all agree with that here. But besides that, I think it's shaping up to be like it's obviously not flying. Ship 26 will not fly, but it could be this. Let's put it on a static fire stand for masses. Let's check things out with it. Let's not risk a flying prototype because it's not like they have a million modern ships there anymore that they don't want to use for flying. So maybe they're using it for fit checks. And I mean, in terms of QD interfaces, in terms of the actual connecting hardware to any ground service equipment, it should be fairly comparable to most modern ships here. So that should work in terms of fit checks. You don't need flaps to be tanked.
You don't need flaps to be tanked.
Is that the phrase of today's?
Yeah,
live stream?
it might be. Brianna Matthews is asking, am I okay that Hopper isn't moving? Yes, I am perfectly fine with that. This week there was some work on Starhopper, and you can see even from this view, it's got like a new little, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird hat. It's just like a weather station, I think, that they welded a tall pole to one of its legs. So for like a day there this week, people were like, what's going on with Hopper? They're not going to move Hopper. They're not going to scrap Hopper, are they? And nope, just got a little weather station accessory. So yes, I'm okay.
Get your Starhopper with a weather station accessory.
I love.
But wait,
I love
there's
that
more. We have anemometers too.
I love at some point that they were just like somebody had all of these instruments lying around at Starbase and needs to be attached. Like they need to be attached to something, and they're looking at Hopper and like, well, we can weld it to Hopper. And then they just decided to do that over and over again over the years, and it became just this giant measurement station.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's do some more questions. So wait, I guess before questions, where are we at? Like, recondensers going? Give me a timeline, Mr. Spreadsheet.
That's unspecific. We have two Mr. Spreadsheets here.
Yeah, that's the benefit of me saying that is either of you could have answered, and I could just get to sit here and take another sip of my drink.
Want to take that, Alex?
Yeah, so right now we are currently on the spool up part of the whole test countdown, I guess you could call it that. We're essentially seeing the recondenser active, the lock side is also active, the liquid oxygen side of the tank farm is active. So both sides, the methane side and the liquid oxygen side, are active. They're spooling up. They are essentially preparing for that load of propellant load on board the vehicle. It is not as noticeable here as it is for the OLM or the tower, because for that we have a vent that is very noticeable, and when it stops, you know that it's loading propellant time, I guess. So here we actually have to wait for the frost, but normally we have some early indications that they're loading. First of all, we can see on some of the views, I don't know, right now we cannot see it on any of these views, but sometimes we can see the QD. It's not really a QD; it's an umbilical essentially to the ship. QD stands for quick disconnect, but I'm a little bit reticent to say quick disconnect because it doesn't disconnect. I mean, it's supposed to disconnect, but it's not a quick disconnect. Anyways, it's an umbilical port. The things, the pipes, the umbilicals, they all get frosty when they start flowing things through. You can see there. That cold can also be pretty much from when they were essentially doing the cryo before. That's one of the problems when they do these cryos before then they test another thing, that things are already cold. So it's a bit of a bad indicator today. But normally on another sort of more normal day, it will be a very good indicator that things are flowing into the vehicle. Before frost appears, we also see the tanks getting cold and they change color because getting cold means that humidity starts sticking to the tank. You have condensation and things like that, and then it turns into frost once the level of the propellant is high enough to actually touch the wall of the tank. But well before that, we have the recondenser start, and I have a spreadsheet for this, as Jack was alluding to. And the thing with this spreadsheet, I have 2 points that are more or less always constant, and then there's the recondenser. That's like the third point on my spreadsheet. The problem with the recondenser is that it's a lot more wild in terms of what is the time from recondenser to test starting. So right now, my only prediction on when the test might happen is from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. Central. But once we get the frost line, that's a more stable point on the data part, so to speak, on the spreadsheet, and that'll be helpful to get a much better T0, so to speak, for the static fire test or whatever they do, because they have sent out overpressure notice, but they could change their minds and do a spin prime, do a pre-burner, who knows, right? So we'll see what happens.
I especially want to point, like, there's also like an interesting things about what are they actually testing today, right? Because we have seen in the past, of course, one of the important things today is probably testing 6 Raptor engines again, all with a bit of making sure we're covering our bases. It could be something different, but if they do test all 6 engines, I think the biggest item I want to watch today, and I want to also point out, hey Kevin, can we make sure we have a picture of the heat shield before the firing that we can put next to the ship after the firing, like a good close-up or something, because I think the heat shield today, it's going to be really interesting. We have seen them putting so much effort into this heat shield, into the heat shield of 29. And we have heard from Elon Musk on X that right now the biggest challenge for Starship is managing re-entry, making a truly reusable heat shield. So this kind of vibration and checkout tests are really a great way for us to observe this heat shield and to maybe learn something more and see if they are making improvements and making it do its job.
Good deal. The heat shield on 30 does look absolutely great, and it will be really interesting to see, if retention is better after a firing with this vehicle. Let's do some more questions. This one Alex is gonna love. Steve is asking,
oh boy,
any guesses on time frame for Flight 5 and Flight 6? Alex, you get to go first.
Alex
Flight
loves these
6?
questions.
We don't even know if they're gonna love. Oh dear Lord. Well, Flight 5 could be within a month, right, of Flight 4. If they are actually readying all of these vehicles, they might go for maybe a month or month and a half turnaround. It's looking like, Flight 3 to Flight 4 is going to be 2 months, 2 months and a half. We're essentially 1 week away from 2 months since Flight 3. So we will probably have to see where it lands on that 4th launch. But it could be 1 month, 1 month and a half, maybe 2, if they take a little bit more time here and there. Flight 6, I have no idea. That one I can tell you, I have no idea. I don't know what they're gonna be doing after Flight 5. Asking something like beyond 2 flights is kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it gets increasingly less likely that you can even guess what the situation would be, but
yeah,
it makes sense though, because for at least Flight and 5 and 6, that there would be a they're aiming for that 1 month turnaround. What was it, the NASA presentation that was given the other
NASA
week?
advisory council.
Yes, the NAC.
The NAC.
Yeah, exactly. And there's, that's when we learned a little bit more about the refueling test that's going to be done, and the concept of operations for that was that the chaser ship would launch from the same pad, and do so like perhaps weeks, so the weeks after the first one launched. So if they can hit that 1 month turnaround now and demonstrate that they are ready to do that for the tanking mission, then we're one step closer to Artemis goals and obviously Mars.
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks. That's essentially what they're looking at for that mission. So obviously they need Starship B2, Starship version 2, right? And they need that cadence to increase.
And they need, I think in the presentation they also mentioned the second tower potentially, right?
Not that I know of. They didn't mention the need for a second tower.
I wonder if they will do that for the refueling. Okay, let's go into rampant speculation mode then. Will they do the refueling demo from one pad or two pads?
From one pad.
You think
that
so?
was in the
that was in the presentation.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it just said Starbase.
Yeah, from this pad, from this launch pad. 3 to
Really?
4 weeks.
They said pad 1. Or what? Like
No, it said that they're gonna be launching from the same launch pad 3 to 4 weeks after
interesting.
the other one.
Yeah, it was a Starbase update, wasn't it?
Yeah, if they had a second launch pad, they could launch like within an hour, because you have the other launch pad.
That's interesting
Once they
because I
have
totally that's the problem with information overload at some point. You just forgot things.
Yeah. One of the things is that once they have more than one launch pad, which they are working towards that, you can essentially see some of that work on the left there of Ship 30. They are already preparing the foundations for the second tower at Starbase. They are working also at KSC. You might see that tomorrow on tomorrow's flyover. I believe it's publishing tomorrow. And they're working also on foundations for that as well. So, and they also have paperwork already being moved around and being processed for another launch pad as well at the Cape. So that will mean that perhaps in the next couple of years, we'll have up to 4 launch pads for Starship. And when you get 4 launch pads, you don't need 3-4 weeks to wait for a refueling trip. You just launch from the other launch pad, right? It's like, yeah, or even 2 simultaneous launches, as someone was pointing out in chat.
Can you imagine a day, like 5, 10, who knows how many years in the future, where like 6 starships launch in one day, just like from pads around the U.S.? Like that would be so crazy.
The NSF future of that is also crazy because it will literally be, okay, who's taking the Starship launch in the morning? Who's doing it? Somebody has to do it.
It's like Starlink now, right? Because even with the Starlinks, it's like, oh, there's one in the morning and then another one in the afternoon. Who's taking that one?
Yeah, thanks SpaceX, by the way, for switching around 57 and 56. Totally didn't confuse me.
It happens. Let's see here. Nancy McCain, thank you for becoming a Padrat member. D.A. Swanson, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Chris P. gifting 20 Red Team memberships. That is awesome. Thank you. Make sure you thank Chris P. if you got a membership from him. Vanishing Image becoming a Red Team member. And Stacy becoming a Padrat member. Neat. Thanks for the support, y'all.
By the way, since I see there's more and more in chat, I quickly want to address, yes, this is indeed a test for Flight 5. We didn't do a typo. This is a test for Flight 5. They're just testing Flight 5 hardware before Flight 4 happened.
Yeah, and there's also the usual comment of, oh, shouldn't they be focusing on Flight 4 while they... Why are they doing Flight 5 stuff? And it's totally fair to think that, right? Because we see that with other vehicles where they all go sequentially instead of trying to get ahead of things. But if you think about it, they want to launch very fast. And so they want to get that down already. They want to... And also, after this static fire test, it takes so long to prepare these ships and to prepare the boosters. So they want to get this done already. Once they do this, they can work on all the other systems, all the other little bits. Why are we doing enhance here? But yeah. Anyways,
I mean, it looks cool.
just like they're doing right now with Ship 29. Ship 29 has been for what, 1 month already, or more than 1 month in a high bay, getting all its heat shield and everything worked on. So yeah, once they do that with Ship 30, once they do the static fire, it can go back to the production site and get all of that work done.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how long it's taken them with Ship 29 and previous ships. Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, once they're starting to check the tiles and like half of them come off, they're like, whoops.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I pointed out earlier on the Raptor side, that you look now at the heat shield and you're like, oh, it's looking good, right? Like we were talking about before. But then they go out and they test that with suction cups, and you're like, well, they're removing a bunch of tiles here and there, so maybe it was not that good. But yeah, on a first glance, it looks good. It might even survive the static fire test. But then when they test it back at the high bay, they're like, yeah, this one did not survive the test of with a suction cup and everything. So that's why they test the heat shield. That's the whole point.
Yeah, didn't they do... I'm pretty sure they did some kind of similar suction cup test with shuttle tiles as well. I mean, it just makes sense. There's... I mean, I feel like I've said this a million times. There's going to be teething issues with this system, but I'm supremely confident that it will work and they'll figure it out. So there's so many benefits over shuttle, and like, it's not side mounted on the stack, so tiles really just have to deal with aero forces. Like, you don't have to worry about, taking impacts or anything like that from ice or foam. And yeah, I don't know. I'm like maybe overly confident in the heat shield on Starship. I feel like it's like, oh, it'll be fine.
I'm just excited for the first rainbow ships. That's my thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because at some point, just to explain, stainless steel has the tendency to turn into a bit of a rainbow, like shiny rainbow effect if it gets heated, right? So, in theory, and this is still like, could be happening, could not be happening, but if we are lucky and the conditions are correct, starships will start to get a bit rainbowy in the sun over time if they get reused more and more and they are experiencing re-entry over and over again. So in theory, a ship that has flown many times, it will be a bit like a rainbow, like in the sun.
Yeah, like a scorchy kind of rainbow. I mean, Falcon 9s get dirtier and dirtier. It'd be really cool if starships just get like more and more rainbowy.
Yeah. It's gonna, like, if that's the effect, oh, that would be so cool.
One of the things to your favor, Jack, because you said, oh, you have so much more faith, but it's true that it's a private thing, right? And sure, it's gonna be used for Artemis, but they don't really need the whole reusability thing. They could do it expendable if they wanted to. Will just cost more, whatnot. But the re-entry part of the ship, there's no government being put in the way, saying, hey, you need to build it this way or this other way. Shuttle had that constraint, and also Shuttle was crewed, so you couldn't change things fast, and also whenever you change something, there was crew on board. So you didn't have as much leeway as they have with Starship here. So even if it takes, 100 flights to get right, and to get it down to a point where you don't need a lot of refurbishment, or even refurbishment at all, they are free to do that, because it's not the shuttle. The shuttle had a lot of constraints with crew again, right, and the government control and everything. So yeah, it's just different.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will always recommend watching Pentagon Wars. Designed by committee is not great a lot of the time. So having a private venture and being able to do everything in-house, there's benefits. I agree. How do I say this name? I know this person, but I don't know how to say this. Wojcicki?
Wojcicki.
They say, hey, Jack, is it going to fly today? No. It's not going to fly today, but it's going to light its engines up.
Well, the chances are never zero.
I believe this is an old joke from the SN8 days.
Yeah, it's like the good old bullet flight today, right?
Ooh.
Or is there
Right.
crew? Is there
may not
crew on
fly.
board?
But it's singing. I just heard. Oh, Frost! We have Frost. We have Frost in the vehicle. Can we switch to 11?
Give him time. He will do. There's a delay.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Look at that. That's another point in my spreadsheet.
Excellent. So, propellant's flowing into the vehicle.
Ooh, you can see like I always love this effect on ships where it's like almost this condensation rain that starts once the frost ring forms. I always love it.
So
Yeah,
by
it's-
my spreadsheet, the test, I can narrow down a little bit more the window for the test. Should be between 410 and 420.
Oh no.
It might be more towards 420 because I'm doing a little bit of math here. So we'll see.
It's gonna be 420 on a dot. I'm calling it now.
I don't even know what to say.
Next thing we
mean-
should.
Are
Not
you
surprising.
disagreeing, Jack?
No.
Yeah. The
Hearing the number and you're like, oh, it's gonna be 420, isn't it?
the next step that I have on my spreadsheet at the very least is the engine chill, which usually happens about 30 minutes before the test. So if it comes up at 350, then we know it's gonna be 420.
Good point by Ryan, by the way, in the back channel. It's actually 1620 because no AM PM.
Ah, there you go. And I should say, I guess this is all based on previous testing. They could always hold or even abort the test today. Hopefully not. Knock on wood, cross your fingers, whatever rituals you have for good luck. But that's essentially based on all the previous testing. I can even tell you it's based on Ship 28, Ship 29 testing, even Ship 26 testing. Some of it, not all of it, because not all of
Yeah.
it followed the same timeline. But yeah, I have some decent amount of testing data.
And just to point it out, because some people are being like, oh, can you be specific with this time? No. We are on SpaceX. We are not
Yeah.
in the fortunate situation that we have like a press notice from SpaceX or something like that.
That's
We are
venting
just
from the ship.
guessing. Yep. We are just guessing this based on looking at previous tests, and in this case, Alex, and just basically looking at experience, and from that you get like a certain corridor, like a top and a bottom of where the test probably is happening, and that window is somewhere between 410 and 420 right now, and that's why we have this window. So no, we cannot give you like a perfect timing here right now.
But we're seeing the frost line grow. So everything's looking good so far. Hopefully no holds. So what do we think that they're going to do today? Mary did get that overpressure notice. I guess just based on how we've seen this flow go for previous ships, this is what, either a 6 or a 1 engine?
Yes. That's the one engine, of course, being the test for the orbit, or like the in-space burn, I think it's what they refer to, and the 6 would be the normal verification static fire. I think based on everything what we have seen here, and the overpressure notice, and also what we expect, I would say this is probably them skipping a spin prime and going to a 6-engine test to get this done before flight 4 of the next stack, so they can roll this back and get it ready for the flight as well.
Man, they just are not wasting any time in Starbase.
And now, so that's the crazy thing about this. Think about how much this can save time, right? Because you'd be like, oh well, if it doesn't matter if they do the test, like they could just wait until the flight 4 is over, right, and then test. Well, if they test today and they get this done, that means they can basically roll this ship back to the production site and do all the flight closeout things they will do before wet dress rehearsal already. This is a crazy amount of time they would save versus the having to roll out after the flight test and then having to basically do all of the checkouts after that. That's the why they're really trying to move this in front of the flight and not after.
Man, 30 is just a good looking ship.
Yep.
We'll keep an eye on the QD and the thrust line as it rises. Adrian, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Not you, Adrian. Chat Adrian.
How chat, Adrian?
John Malone becoming a Pad Rat member. Keith, thanks for this super chat. They say still waiting on Jack's kayak. How is that still a thing?
It's
Jason,
every day.
I can't hear you. Jason Jacks, the becoming a Pad Rat member. Wilbo Tiberius Baggins, what's up, buddy? Saying use the LR11,000, lowering a booster to try catching, maybe. I don't know if a crane can replicate quite what a booster's going to be doing on the way in if the renders we've seen are any indication of reality. It's going to be nuts. But yeah, I do wonder what sort of chopstick testing we might see, especially during Flight 4. Do you guys think we'll see a simulated catch during the virtual landing? A virtual landing and a virtual catch?
I mean, they kind of hinted to that, right, Alex? They said that they would basically try to simulate as much as they. I still wonder what's the extent of the software simulation. Like what's the actual software simulation doing? What will we see of that, or is it more like a parameter test of accuracy? I don't know. But it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we could see a catch attempt of the booster as early as 6-8 weeks from now.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm sort of wondering is if Flight 4 is going to target like the virtual catch kind of thing, what were the other 3 flights targeting? Right? Were they just, igniting the engines? Like if they had actually gone through all of their steps to the point of landing burn, where they just light the engines and cross your fingers? Like what was the booster supposed to do, right? Was it also supposed to be a virtual catch or something? That's one of my big questions there. But yeah, I don't even know what they're going to be doing with the chopsticks, because they may just attempt something like moving the chopstick. It's only one chopstick right now that can move that fast, so it's probably not a 100% accurate simulation, but it's something that they could do, of trying to get that chopstick a little bit of a workout while the booster is landing on the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. Similarly, Elite's official is asking, once they attempt to catch, if the Super Heavy misses the chopsticks, this is why we're all wondering how many tests and whatnot they're going to do, chances of the ground support equipment, orbital launch mount, or the tower survival. I mean, I'd be most worried about the tank farm, but
yeah,
I think the tower and the mount are mostly okay. Like there will be some refurbishment to those, but the tank farm is the one that I think would stink the worst if something bad happened to it from a crashing booster. Go ahead, Adrian.
I mean, if you think about the pad, right? The pad is designed to withstand 70, 80 meganewton of thrust. Like it's built different, kinda. So I really don't think a 300-ton, 400-ton empty booster would destroy it. I'm more worried about the fine details of everything, like small piping, electrics, that kind of stuff that maybe gets a hit that they didn't anticipate. But I'm not worried about the overall big infrastructure that all of these buildings are built to withstand the launch, and the launch has so much power.
It also depends when it misses, right? Because if it misses before it does the translation, then it probably just crashes in the beach or something. But if it crashes, if it loses the chopsticks essentially a little bit later, then yeah, it probably could probably hit the tower or something like that. But the tower is tough.
Yeah, I mean, the tower is. I've always said it. In a fight between the tower and a booster, tower wins.
Yeah, the tower will be the kind of. If it were a person, it will be the kind of person that will say, "You should see the other guy."
Daniel Whitehouse, thank you for the support. They say, hope the shield holds up on the next. Marcello, thank you for the support. Meaningless, thanks for the super chat. They say, Jack in a kilt doing a cartwheel on a kayak. That's the worst sentence I've ever read.
Yeah, that's the best sentence I've ever heard.
Ninja Decimator, thank you for the support. Yes, they say Jack with a kayak and a kilt. Okay, thank you. Ninja Decimator, I gave you a cool on-air name read, and that's how you do me? Russell Snodgrass, holy cow. Of course, Russell's coming through with some huge support. $100 super chat. Thank you, Russell.
Wow.
They say maybe they could set up Ship 26 to do a short hop and catch test the chopsticks. As cool as I think
scared.
that would be, I don't think that's what they would do. I have no idea what they're doing with 26. I'm dying to know what they're doing with 26. I'm starting to think that maybe it's not just
maybe Ship 26 too.
Like, is it just a ground systems checkout vehicle? I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with 26.
I think what they first did was some structural testing, because you could see all of these stringers, right?
Right.
So I guess that was some sort of structural test. And I bet you the next one is just, we still have Ship 26, right? Well, we need the ship to check out Massey, so let's do that next. I think it's just like this one prototype that they are just rolling around. And at this point, it's kind of handy that it doesn't have flaps, because they are just annoying during transport. So it's like, well, whatever.
Ship 30 agrees.
Nice. That's important for me.
Matthew Dahl, thank you for the super chat. They say, what kind of engines that ring shown in renders will be used to land on the moon? And hi, Star Guy.
I will throw this question instantly to Alex and not touch it. Good luck, Alex.
That's cheating. Well, we don't know, right? Because we haven't really seen SpaceX talking about those for a long time, ever since it was announced. It could be some kind of pressure-fed Methalox engine, essentially some sort of like Draco kind of like thruster, but it's Methalox, and you probably need, instead of being hypergolic, you probably need an igniter for each of those engines or something along those lines. But yeah, we really haven't heard anything about those for a while. There's been things that we have seen though at McGregor about testing of engines, which we'll probably have to put a video out of that just to talk about it. But yeah, there's been interesting hardware we've seen, but yeah, we'll see what they do. And
we
what they
will
say.
see. Wilbo Tiberius Baggins gifting a Red Team membership. Thank you, Wilbo. Nigel with a 20-pound super chat. It's a heavy super chat. They say, there's a rumor, which I'm starting now, that Ship 26 is being prepared to fly on Flight 6 and will test an RVAC stubby nozzle. That's awful.
Oh,
That's
dear.
absolutely awful.
No. Let's not, please.
Jacques Oliver, thank you for the support. They say Chaos Crew. Nate Saunders, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership.
I feel like so far we are not really Chaos Crew. I feel like so far we are very much... We're doing our best here.
Normal crew. That doesn't really have a ring to it. And
I also don't have a ring.
Neuromorphic Replicant is asking, is Flight 3 going to do a complete orbit? Well, Flight 3 already happened. But Flight 4... we're expecting the same profile as every flight so far with minor modifications, right?
I wouldn't say every, but yes.
Yeah, every flight, because they did change, but
Yeah.
the same as the previous, I guess I should say,
Yes.
until we hear otherwise.
We have not heard any indication that the flight profile for Flight 4 will change versus Flight 3.
There you go.
Was that a bird?
That's indeed a bird. They also live in Starbase. From time to time, they show themselves on camera.
Lots.
So from time to time,
and
they
lots
also...
of them live in Starbase. It's a wildlife preserve.
Yeah.
They also like to do their things on our cameras.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the name of the game.
More of a team from Ship 30.
Really enjoying
I love
the
that-
audio.
I love that yellow letter there, by the way, that is close to the ship. I'm a yellow letter fan.
The what?
Sorry, my German English is betraying me again. A yellow letter that is in front of the QD. Or the umbilical.
Oh yeah, very satisfying.
Yes, there. It's the best.
It says, "Don't worry, I'm safe. I have a little rust, but I'm your friend."
Yeah, it's fine. But more people asking, by the way, we expect the static fire happen in about an hour-ish. With a lot of ish.
With a lot of ish.
Right. Just
I
continuing
think
to
I
watch
hear like that as well.
prop get loaded, and we'll see if they hit any holds. Hopefully not.
Yeah, right now we are in that propellant load sequence. We should see the engine chill pipes venting in about 30 minutes or so, more or less, and then we'll get into the engine chill part. It's essentially pipes that run through the sides of the ship. There you go. On the aft end, and then you have extensions. They have extensions on that stand, and so those will vent once they go into engine chill. They're not active right now, though. That's a cool view, by the way.
This one?
Yeah,
This
you
one
can-
is even more cooler because
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Sawyer.
So I really infected the whole NSF team with these puns, and now they're everywhere.
I feel like I was doing it a little bit already, but yeah, it's just, we're mashing the gas.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
He's
with
not.
that.
He's not really. He's not really like it's not because of him, but he's enhancing it. Like he's. It's coming up more.
So, if you're just joining us, we are waiting for a static fire with Ship 30. You can see it's frosty, so prop is being loaded onto it. And it's a venting active vehicle. Recondenser's active, so methane involved in whatever they're doing today. Plus, of course, Mary has had an overpressure notice delivered. But there's been a bunch of other stuff happening today, too, with Ship 30 and with not Ship 30. So, I don't know, Alex, give us a rundown of what's happened so far this morning and what's still happening. Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah. Well, what we
sorry,
have seen.
have we seen
Go
that
ahead.
vent before?
Can we maybe look at the other camera from the side? I think it's coming from the QD, if I'm not mistaken.
Positioner or trailer, probably.
Or maybe it's coming from the ship itself. But yeah, they usually have extra vents in the skirt of the ship, so no surprise to see vents here and there. There are other vents that I'm more interested on, to be fair, rather than those. We may talk about those later. The day today has been a little bit confusing for even people are a little bit more used to seeing testing and everything, because it started yesterday actually with Mary getting that overpressure notice. So we were expecting a static fire test, but then they closed the road and the orbital tank farm started spooling up. They also did a lot of OLM venting and tower venting and all that. That jazz, as you say. They're still doing a lot of testing. You can see on the right from ship 30, or well, yeah, well you can see it even here. The OLM is still venting, as well as ship 30. And the orbital tank farm is also still active and things like that. It seems like it's spooling down right now. It's on that process of spooling down. But in the meantime, they were also doing a cryo test of ship 30 earlier today, a little bit before noon, I believe it was, just off the top of my head. We went on a Raptor site for about 30-45 minutes. To sort of explain, go through all of the stuff. So if you were on Starbase Live, you probably already heard all of that and watched all of that. But yeah, we're right now on the propellant load sequence. They detanked the ship when they did the cryo test. They loaded it, they detanked, essentially draining it, and then they spooled up again with a suborbital tank farm. They went into that propellant load sequence. We're still in that process. We should be seeing that engine chill pipe, that engine chill process beginning in 20-25 minutes from now, ahead of that static fire test, hopefully within 50 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Score Graphic is asking, will we ever see a static fire when full stacked so thrust can be higher without liftoff? I don't think we'll ever see a static fire of a full stack. Silly question aside. Would you guys agree?
Go ahead, Adrian.
I think so there's two answers here. Yes, I would love that. No, I don't think it will happen. Is that? I think.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, would I love a full thrust static fire at liftoff? Not liftoff, as like a full stack? Yes. Would I think it would demolish the pad and also the concrete and probably everything around it? Probably also yes.
Even for launch, they don't even go to full thrust until they are committed to launch.
Right.
Because it's so much power that
Seeing
they don't
a
even have the
full stack
holdouts
static
for
fire
that.
would be cool. That's for sure. I don't think they would do a higher thrust setting just for that reason alone. But who knows? I'm not a rocket engineer.
I also think there's a limit of. I mean, also I'm not a rocket engineer. Disclaimer. But for the purpose of what they want to test, which is mostly like a systems and checkout test, from what we know, I don't think there's a big difference if you fire at 50 versus at 80, 85, 90, what they do at liftoff. It's more, the purpose is fulfilled. They verified the engine integrity.
UK Hudson becoming a red team member. Thank you. And I suspect we know this person, Max E, with a super chat.
I don't know that person. No.
Who's that?
Saying, did
Who's
someone
that?
say Arvac Stubby? Nobody said that, Max.
No. Nobody said that.
Literally nobody said it.
We can also call him M. Evans. Like it's
Oh yeah, that's also good.
It's a completely anonymous person. Could be anyone.
Right.
I have a bit of an
go ahead.
update on my spreadsheet stuff. Well, whenever Ship 30 actually allows me, because it's venting right now. That venting, by the way, is normal because they're loading now the tank, and as it gets loaded, you essentially are having less volume for the gas, for the pressurization stuff and everything. So you need to vent some of that because obviously the pressure raises. So you need to vent continually. Instead of 420, it's looking more like 415 right now, based on previous testing and also some of the data here. I've tried to refine it a little bit, so to speak.
All right, 415 or so.
415.
Sawyer saying in chat, Max EDE stands for easily wrong about stubby nozzle is being good.
I can't.
You're part of this chaos.
I don't know if I can talk maybe about the few changes that we can see here, because this is a good tilt. Maybe we can keep it there, sort of in the middle, for the operator eye, because we see some new things, and we're about to go. There we go. Ooh, almost there. Okay, so when it says suborbital pad B, you see that there's like a vent there on the liquid oxygen tank. That's a new thing that they have installed on Ship 30. That was not there on 29, if I remember correctly. One of the recent ones, because they removed the cowbell vents. You remember the cowbells,
right?
That were in the middle of the liquid oxygen tank. Sadly, those were removed, and they have brought one of these other vents for whatever reason. They have installed new vents as well on the Ship 30. On the top, there's a couple of more vents for the methane apparently. Near that hatch, you can see that circular black thing there. That is the hatch to the payload bay, and so there's more vents there. But also you can see here. You remember the 6 tiles thing that used to be there on where the X was located? It's not there on Ship 30. It's actually moved down, and I believe we could see that before a little bit. But that was another thing that has changed as well for Ship 30. You can see there.
Is that what that diamond thing is?
Yep.
Yeah. Keep tilting down.
A little bit.
Keep going.
More.
Keep going. Yep. Keep going.
I love this.
That.
There you go. Yeah, that's sort of diamond-shaped kind of thing. It's essentially replacing that. When you actually zoom in, Mary has great views of that, obviously, because she can get a lot closer. Well, it's like a hexagon kind of thing. But each of them, you can see that it's independently one little thing. It's not one whole, so to speak. It's not.
Got it. It's not like a monolithic thing. It's
exactly.
Parts.
It's just individual parts, just like it was on the previous ships. So they have relocated things. It also had or at least it still has the attachment points for the Starlink antennas, but we don't know because they may also replace those and put them somewhere else. Who knows? But that's all of the other things as well. It has little changes here and there.
Yeah, Chad Hamlin here winning, by the way, saying it looks like a rupee from The Legend of Zelda. That's what
it actually does. It actually does.
It's for sure like the same shape.
Nice. All right, yeah, let's go back and look at the rising frost on the LOX tank.
Keeps rising.
If this is a single engine test or a 6-engine test, there's different loads of propellant that we see with those, right? So that might be an indicator of how many engines when we get to that point here in 40 minutes, 45 minutes?
It's already, unless they change again a lot of things, it's already well past the point of when it will have at least had the engine chill started for one single engine. Because for single engine tests, the time between frost appearing on the vehicle and the test happening is 40 minutes. But the engine chill time, which is 30 minutes on 6-engine static fire test, it's still 30 minutes for single engine test. So that will have meant that within 10 minutes of the frost appearing, we should also have seen the engine chill starting, and we didn't see that. So obviously that is not the case today, unless they have changed once again all of the procedures. But why change what works, right? Maybe let's hope that at least everything is still the same.
All right, well, we'll see. Luke Skywalker, nice name, becoming a Capcom member. Nice, you get Discord access. So hop into the Discord and say hey. Also, for NSF Live, we've been doing a pre-show and post-show. So you get access to that as part of the members' Discord as well. So do it. Enjoy the perks, and thank you for the support. Evil Genius, thank you for the tip, the $20 tip there. What they say, how much cheese mining equipment can Starship get to the moon in one trip? Looking to start a green cheese empire. A lot. I mean, the maximum would be what? 100 tons? There you go. Jaroslav becoming a Padrat member, thank you. Someone named Sawyer Rosenstein is saying, Stubby Nozzle, Bad Gang, Unite? What's up, Sawyer? With a $5 super chat. And they say, while we're being controversial, oh no, jalapeno cheddar is not a bagel, and the word squirrel is easy to pronounce. Sawyer. Sawyer, what are you doing?
Sawyer. Why? Why?
I'm like, there's so many things I could say that I want to say, but you know what? Ship 30 is the star of the show today. We don't need to argue about bagels, even though Sawyer's wrong.
I have no idea what the other opinion is, by the way.
Let's just move right on. There's so many things, Adrian, that I want. The Nozzle gifted a red team membership. No, we're not talking about it.
But isn't a bagel just a donut with not something sweet on it?
No. And Sephora Serpentis Russ, thank you for gifting 5 red team memberships.
I feel like everybody's trying to bait Jack today. It's like,
nope, not gonna happen.
It's like just throwing things into his way and see what happens.
So creeping closer, what, like 50 minutes?
Yeah.
Still nothing
Somewhere
on the
in that
methane
range.
tank.
It won't be that
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, we should see. I'm already taking more notes here. We should see maybe the engine chill around 342, 343, more or less.
All right.
So
And
we're
we'll see that
about
from
8 minutes
this
or so.
angle really
Yep.
well. It'll just be a little bit of
Max.
condensation coming from the engines down there. Is Max still...
Don't even.
Sawyer and
Yeah.
Max are both trying to cause chaos.
Yep, absolutely. They're like throwing things into the machine here.
Matthias, thank you for gifting a red team membership.
People are
And
joining.
what?
People are putting controversial opinions now in their super chat to see what happens.
Oh God. Max says the ocean is a soup.
I mean,
Ninja Decimator says turkey bacon is real bacon. Yeah, this is not going to end well.
it's like
I'm not agreeing with any of these statements. I'm just acknowledging and appreciating people for supporting the channel. To be clear.
it's like a disclaimer. Reading a super chat is not an endorsement of the opinion of the super chat.
Right. Flavio, thank you for the support. They say, how much mass do you guys think Starship version 2 or version 3 could carry to orbit the sun? Something close to Mercury's orbit would be great. Asking for a friend. What?
Are you trying to get rid of something, Flavio?
But this is a physics question, so I will throw it to Alex because he can't do physics.
It's 100 tons
Well-
anywhere anywhere in the solar system with enough refueling, right?
Yeah, if you have enough refueling, yes. Too many refueling flights, I guess, if you want to bring something to Mercury. But yeah, going back to the test, because I want to point out this, because we're seeing right now an effect as the ship gets loaded with liquid oxygen and keeps venting. What happens is that the rest of the tank gets cooled down, and you can see there already that frost appearing on the rest of the tank. That is not the liquid oxygen level is going all the way up. It's just that the tank is getting very, very cold right now. So yeah, it's getting so cold that actual frost is now appearing on the tank.
Neat. We're getting some truly unhinged super chats.
Yes.
I'm trying to ignore it a little bit, not too much, because it's chat and we're supposed to be interactive and everything. But wow, wow.
I love how creative chat becomes if they like try to poke the Jack.
Not gonna happen. Legendary Cow is asking, any word on the FAA and SpaceX mishap investigation? Adrian, have you heard anything from the FAA lately?
The latest word is that SpaceX has not done their homework yet. The mishap investigation is, by the latest update, not turned in. And that means the FAA has nothing to check and approve for now, which means, so far, no launch license modification. So, the answer is no big update since there has been no turned in paperwork from SpaceX.
Yeah, and so until that happens, they obviously can't close anything out or make any recommendations, so no word yet on anything related to that. Sylvia is asking, what steel designation is used for Starship? Is that 401? Am I remembering that correctly? We totally had labels of the rolls shots of the labels on the rolls of steel. 304L, Ryan Weber.
Yeah, 304L, yeah.
At least it was for a long time. Who knows what it is now? It could be like the proprietary alloy that SpaceX has talked about switching to, which I guess would be like a 304X. But yeah, it's a variant of 304. And I'm saying that as if I know anything about the different types of stainless steel. I just know that there are different types and grades of like all metals. Thanks, Apple. Okay, I'm just gonna read some of these. I have to do it. Chat. Why? Austin Skirvin, thank you for the super chat. They say squirrels are the best animal, stubby nozzle's the best nozzle. When Jack in a kayak in a kilt with the Chaos crew.
I mean, I would be down to a kayak trip with you two.
Kayaks
Honestly,
are cool.
it would be fun. Yeah, it would be fun. It would. So I think with kayak trips, at least from my experience in general with boat trips with friends, it always ends that everybody's in the water because at some point somebody will choose violence, and then there's an immediate retaliation to everybody else once somebody's in the water. Like if I get pushed into the water while doing a boat trip, of course my first step of action is to swim over to the boat that pushed me into the water and also push it into the water, right? So
noted. Yeah, noted. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just for letting me know ahead of time. Kevin Harrington says, left coast, best coast. Thanks, Kevin, for the super chat. Aramil says, stubby squirrels are the future. Adrian, could you read this one for us? From Echo Deal?
How many squirrels could you fit on a Starship?
A lot. Somebody in chat will do the math. Thank you for reading that one, Adrian.
Thank you. It hurts me.
So we're coming up on what Alex was predicting would be the start of engine chill. We'll keep our eyes open for that. Is that...
Yep.
Wait, can we go back to that other shot? That is a really interesting frost pattern.
Yep,
those are the stringers.
Yep, that's the stringers, and that's the condensation that is forming as the liquid oxygen starts to boil a bit. So you chill down the whole tank.
Are the bottoms of those stringers in the liquid oxygen, and they're like conducting the coldness up the side of the vehicle faster than the tank wall? That looks really cool.
Probably.
Yep, and that's a Ship 26 innovation, by the way. This is one of the things they apparently
Don't
tested
even
on Ship
remind me
26. Yeah,
No
this
kidding.
is. I hate to say this, but this is probably a Ship 26 feature.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
you know, Ship 26 was used for a whole bunch of development. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it.
They're not called the ship rips. I saw that comment. They're not called the ship rips.
Let's see. Methane Man says you can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. Reference acknowledged. Pink Floyd is awesome.
Yes.
Ooh, venting from the methane tank. That's good.
Excellent. Man, that's just absolutely gorgeous.
One of the
I
other
love
things
this.
that one of the other things that should happen as well once we get closer, like much closer, is venting from the header tanks. That's gonna be awesome as well. I always love that.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some like flap venting, or if those are header tank vents, or just any kind of interesting activity from the vehicle as it like comes alive.
Oh, and after the test, we're gonna get the depress vent, which means all of the vents are gonna become active. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
It's gonna be all the vents. Everything is gonna be venting. I'm excited for this.
It's gonna be a good one. Still keeping our eyes open for engine chill.
Any second now.
And there could be holds, and this is all, of course, as we have said, based on previous tests and data that Alex and Adrian have gathered. So, things change, but this is the flow that we know.
And once the engine chill starts, it's about 30 minutes from there. So
if it
And again,
starts now,
it's-
you're on point with 4:15, and it
we'll
will
see.
start right now. Or not.
That
or
would be a
not.
very big coincidence.
I tried.
It would be
I
pretty
tried.
good if you pulled it off. I mean, there was that. I think I did that with what, SN4 one time. That might have even been the time that it exploded. I didn't do it when it exploded, but for the static fire that preceded.
Oh, I
it.
remember that. Yeah. You tried to do
Didn't we?
the countdown.
Didn't we also have that one stream where we said it's gonna happen right now for like 15 times?
Yeah, probably.
Think we did that once, and it became very unfunny very quickly.
That sounds,
like us. Yeah.
That sounds like us.
Yes. Yes.
All right, well, keeping our eyes open for engine chill. Let's do some more questions. Stian is asking, are they using the suborbital tank farm or the orbital tank farm for these tests? It's suborbital, right?
Yep. Suborbital.
Yep.
Although, in that previous shot, the vaporizers you were looking at are orbital tank farm vaporizers.
Yep. There we go, engine chill.
1 minute off.
Alex, I'm disappointed in you.
Alex.
So test at 4 16, I guess. But yeah, there we go. Engine chill.
So they're now chilling down the Raptor engines in preparation for the cold liquid flow of liquid oxygen and liquid. Oh my god, liquid methane. There we go. And we are looking at a test of Ship 30 as early as 4:16. That's a quick summary. Now, Jack, with the weather.
It's cloudy.
Thank you, Jack.
Andy's asking any date guesses for Flight 4. Do we think May is still on the table? Like maybe like last week of May?
I think, yeah, if everything... I think... So, in theory, they don't have that many tests in front of them, right? It's just potentially a wet dress rehearsal, then DAC, then... first DAC, then wet dress rehearsal, then launch. The whole paperwork situation makes me a bit feeling uneasy about this, because if they have not turned from the last update the mishap investigation in, it's not certainly not going to be like early to mid-May. It's certainly more in the late May stages.
Yep. Techran, thank you for the support. They say, does a human look at a mermaid the way a scorpion looks at a lobster? Like I said, chat was getting really unhinged with the super chats. I'm not even gonna... I don't even know. Mr. Banana wants to know how many bananas Starship can get to low Earth orbit. Again, somebody in chat, please do the math.
Oh, that's easy. I mean,
You say that's easy.
Yeah, Adrian, if you want to do the math, go ahead. I'm gonna finish some more super chats. Cole,
okay,
asking if Starship could float in Venus's atmosphere. It is really dense. I feel like this is yet another question that would need math to be done. And we're getting pretty close to static fire with the ship here, but Cole, thank you for the support. Tom Dalton is just wanting to hurt me because they're, with their super chat saying, having a jalapeno cheddar bagel with sun-dried tomato cream cheese. That sounds delightful. Enjoy. Akamitsu, thanks for the super chat. I'd rather be flying an X-Wing. Thanks for the $5 tip. They're asking when I'm going to stop shaving between flights. The timeline keeps getting smaller and smaller. From those of us who are not allowed to have facial hair, let it grow. I don't know. A thick beard is not a great thing in the summer, so we'll see what happens when winter comes around. How close are we to a full LOX tank on Ship 30 right now?
Very far away. You can see it on, like, the actual frost ring is way lower than the whole tank.
Right.
You can actually
look at that.
You can actually see the whole tank very easily because the whole tank is the thing that is right now marked white. But there's a more whiter white.
Yeah, there's a thicker layer of frost down there.
Yeah, that's the actual LOX load. So it's probably around 1/3-ish, 40%-ish loaded.
Yeah, and this is more or less where it stays. It doesn't really go that higher up. The rest of the frost that you see is essentially from that, from the tank venting every now and then. The tank gets cold. Adiabatic expansion, all of that for those that may know a little bit of thermodynamics. But yeah, that's a whole. It's the same process. That's why when there's like a high pressure can or something, you let the pressure off. It feels cool. It feels cold. That's very similar to that.
Ethereal Swordsman, another name that pops up all the time. They say raptors are feet. Are we doing that again?
Oh boy.
No.
No, please, no.
LSR, thank you for the super chat. Also, what's up, buddy? Fellow NSFer. They say Hoppy is happy that Ship 26, Jack's favorite ship and the best ship, is getting its moment to shine soon. There, I read it. I read it on air for you. Methane Man, thank you for gifting 20 Red Team memberships. That's truly awesome. Now 20 people are going to have a membership and get all the cool perks that they might not otherwise have gotten. So be sure you thank Methane Man. All right, so like, what, 20-something minutes?
Yeah, somewhere around. Well, actually, a bit less. 19. We are close.
We are close indeed. Yet another static fire of a ship on Suborbital Pad B. Really should have just started calling it Test Stand B many years ago, but here we are. Do you guys think this will be the last static fire for Pad B? We've kind of speculated on that on previous static fires, just because with the Massey's static fire stand, it feels like, you know, any one of these could be the very last one.
I mean, I feel like it's still a bit like they have a very high cadence right now, and they're trying. Like I think there will be one or two more ships on this stand. I think until they are fully tested at Massey's, it will take a bit more time. I think one or two more. That's my opinion on this.
Alex, what do you think?
I think this might be the last, but we'll see. That's my take on that. It might, but we'll see.
I mean, what if Ship 26 rolls out to Massey's and fires in the new stand? Like, it's just ready to go, somehow. That would be crazy.
Alex disagrees with me. I just lost.
What do you mean? The ready to go, the stand? Yeah, could be. I don't really know. They might just go ahead and do Ship 31 as well here from Pad B and not do anything from Massey's until they have version 2. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like even after Ship 29, Ship 26 I mean.
That's my fear as well. Like, what if the stand at Massey's is like configured already for V2? Like, if there's a change that just makes it a V2 stand.
Oh, huh. Yeah, I mean, that would... I guess that's a possibility, but I wouldn't be too worried about it, I guess.
Yeah. It's just my consideration here. Like, just to throw it into the mix, into the pot.
So, props loaded on the vehicle. Engine chill vent is active. Alex, like, where are we at? What are we going to see next?
Well, the whole thing is going to become more and more frosty. Locks load should end rather soon because it doesn't seem like the frost line goes up that much from where we are right now. Obviously, one of the key items that we'll see is the water. So in this shot that we see right now from the right, within the stand on sort of like near the ground, we'll see that hose of water coming out, and that'll indicate that we are seconds away from that static fire test. So other than that, what we're gonna see is the ship just becoming more active, and then the header tank should start venting somewhere around now. So we'll keep an eye on that as well here on our feeds. We'll try to maybe capture some of that venting as well as it happens, but definitely some of that activity that tends to happen is precisely that. The ship just becomes more active and huffing and puffing and all that stuff.
Puffing and puffing.
Yeah, and it just did. Alan, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Plutonium239, thank you so much for the support. They say, will they ever use an infrared or FLIR thermal camera to show heat from the static fire? It would be cool, but also, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, and DOS is always tinkering, but thermal cameras are hard, and thermal lenses that can actually see a distance, and they're insanely expensive. It's a whole thing. So
It's
Methane
not
Man,
easy, essentially.
right? Methane Man's asking who's having tacos today. I guess because it's Taco Tuesday.
I didn't have tacos today.
Now I want tacos.
It's a good excuse to get tacos after this.
And TechRan, thank you for the super chat, asking what's up with 26. We talked about it a little bit already, maybe a lot of it.
We don't know.
The short answer is we
exactly.
don't know. We just don't know.
And the long answer is we don't know.
Classic Starbase wait and see. Keeping an eye out for the header tank vents. Hopefully we see that. It always looks so cool.
I love ships coming to life. Like this whole tank farm going strong, everything venting, everything just completely going off here. I love that. I like it has this unique feeling that just is fun to observe.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, this is the place where we watched all of the tests so far happen. The suborbital side of the launch site. From Starhopper through SN15 and, you know, all the static fires. Remember when Booster 3 was on Pad A for like, I don't even know how many months? But pretty soon all of this is going to be radically different once the second pad starts going in. I mean, that's why they're building a ship stand at Massey's, is so they can revamp this whole area and throw down another orbital launch pad there. So each one of these tests that we get is really, you know, it's kind of nice because it's not going to be like this for much longer.
Yeah, imagine building a whole new gateway to Mars sign and then knocking it over 2 months later.
And then building another one and then knocking that one over 2 months later.
Yeah. That would be weird, right?
Never happen. Let's see. Min Space is asking if Flight 4 will attempt an engine ignition to change its trajectory forward, which is tricky with orbital mechanics. But I assume you mean raising their perigee. No, they're going to do an engine burn to lower their perigee, which is already like negative, right?
Well, for Flight 3, it was going to be forward to raise the perigee. Yep.
So then I guess, yeah, that's what we expect for Flight 4?
Yep.
I would expect a very similar thing, yeah.
Huh, got that wrong. Neat. Let's see. Nils, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Coming up on like 16, 15 minutes, potentially.
Potentially. We'll see.
Very active vehicle and tank farm. Always just so nice to see.
And also the orbital tank farm providing like some additional ambience, right?
Right.
Because the orbital tank farm is still going.
Nice, someone just got an L2 subscription.
That's a very good purchase. That was my first contact with NSF. I
Same.
got into L2. It's just a cool place to read up.
Yeah, I DM'd Chris B. I like taking pictures of planes and rockets. Can I take pictures of planes and rockets for NSF?
And here you are, taking pictures of planes and rockets for NSF.
Who knew?
Crazy.
Andrew's asking, if reentry isn't solved, do you think there's a point where they'll do some expendable launches to start making money? I mean, I think expendable Starship, just like expendable Falcon, is on the table. It's just not the primary use case or the primary reason they're developing this. Like, if they have to do it, I think they would, but I don't know. What are your Adrian? It sounded like you had thoughts.
I mean, if they have to launch payloads expandable, why wouldn't they just use like the payloads that fully use Starship right now just don't exist yet. Like we are not there yet in the contract circle where there's like 15 giant payloads by NASA standing by for Starship to launch. So why wouldn't they just use Falcon?
Yeah, I mean, if it's just not something Falcon can lift.
Yeah. But I think most of the payloads that right now would be booked would be a Falcon payload. So I think they would just focus on getting this fully reusable and then start launching customers.
Interesting question.
Yeah, for sure. Like I could be totally wrong here. Maybe they start expendable flights as early as somewhere, but so far we lack any indication that they would. Let's say it like that.
Here's another interesting question. Julian is asking, do we know why all orbital stacks so far have flown with a 90-degree roll relative to the ground? I mean, rockets roll to get on their correct azimuth? Oh, venting? Interesting.
That's very interesting, yeah.
Interesting.
Could they be about to fire again and to tease us once again? Or who knows what we're looking at right now? This is interesting. I don't want to say it's a depress, but this is a sustained vent.
Yeah, and every single vent, at least on the liquid oxygen tank, every single vent is going off. And also on the methane tank is what I'm seeing now.
I don't like this that much.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens, but this is interesting behavior.
See what happens. We will. It's certainly interesting. Remember, we had that one test where we thought, "Oh, this is not good," and then they fired.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's like burned. That's burned into all of our brains.
Yeah, that was.
Let's keep an eye on it.
Yeah. This is certainly an interesting vent.
Yeah, all of it. Even the new vent on the methane tank is going. All of the vents are going right now.
Yeah. You will see. We will book it as interesting in our So we will see.
Are we seeing any venting from the header tanks, by the way?
I have not seen anything from the header tanks.
I love the sound of the vents so much. Like the increasing pitch. Oh, and it stopped.
You had to say something, right?
Interesting.
How long was this for?
Yeah. That was like a minute.
I'm trying to compare that to...
No, it was actually 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
It was about 3 to 4 minutes on Ship 29's single engine test.
So the good news is, so far, for example, the flash stack is not going. Which means they are not into any detanking operation here or anything. So that's good. Like I think the vehicle is maybe just in a stable configuration right now, and we will see what happens now. There's always a chance they just throw something new into the mix.
Can we maybe move to the other one where we can see the water better? But also the engine chill seems to have gone off. Let's wait here at least for a couple of minutes to see if there's a test or something. It will not line up with anything that we've seen before, though.
It'd be really interesting.
This is new.
Let's keep our eyes open for that water that might start and indicate. We haven't heard Mary reporting anything about a siren yet, but the siren doesn't always happen. So
yeah,
we get all comfortable and think we know exactly the steps and processes that we're going to see, and then they change things up on us, and that's the most fun part because then we learn new things.
Somebody in chat saying it's a valve. It's always a valve.
Oh, poor Starliner. It wasn't Starliner's fault. It was the Centaur. It was the Centaur.
It's not. Stalin did nothing wrong.
Did we answer the question as to why Starship stacks fly with a 90-degree roll? Or did we get distracted
no.
by venting?
We are like very sort of tense band babies that just look around if there's a loud noise. Like,
well, we could be close to a static fire, so it's understandable. I'll put this back in the queue and we'll answer it when we can.
Yeah.
Right now it's kind of like game time, right?
Yeah, certainly.
Flame time. Am I right?
Yeah, flame totally. We have totally in flame time. Nothing else could happen here. Another note is that the engine chill here has stopped.
Engine
Or
chill
like
is
most
stopped.
have stopped. Yep, you can see the pipes. It's not longer like that's not an engine chill. That
Right.
pipe is just fizzling out a bit because it's still cold.
That's just a cold pipe, yeah.
Yeah, that's what has me worried, because for all of these single engine static fire tests that we have seen previously, that engine chill has continued pretty much to the point of the test.
Yeah, it's. I would feel at least relatively confident calling this some sort of a hold. However, they could possibly resume. But I feel like we are certainly like this looks holdish to me.
Yeah.
So we will see how this develops. I mean, they still have 4 more hours in this window.
Yeah, the window does go until 8 p.m., so no worries there. There's plenty of time in today to get some testing done. I mean, they've already done so much today, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm still just floored with how cool Ship 30 looks with the new stringers in the LOX tank. I'm so all about it, and it makes me excited to think about version 2 and how cool that's going to look.
Yep, I agree. I love the stringers.
Although version 3, please no version 3. Please let it be different than the renders.
No, it's perfect the way it is. It's perfect the way it is.
Oh, is that the?
I'm seeing it as well. Can we go to the vent stack, Kevin? Like Mars big? Okay, maybe not Mars. Maybe I picked the wrong camera here.
That's what you wanted. He gave you what you wanted.
He's not even like pretending to give me the right one. He's just throwing me under the bus. It's the vent stack.
Highway, yeah.
Yeah, it's highway.
Or road. This is road.
Love this, Kevin.
So
yeah, the vent stack is going.
You were talking about this a little while ago, Alex, and you said the vent stack wasn't going, and now it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the record, because I want to say something like this already happened with 29, and it was also not resulting in a test. Ship 29, when it first rolled out to the launch site, it essentially was before Flight 3. Its first test was going to be a spin prime test. That was essentially the Friday before Flight 3. And it just did not go through that. It aborted about 6 minutes from what we were predicting to be the test time. This test, I mean, it should... If it were actually going to be today, it will be a lot more active in terms of the ship. The engine chills, it will still be going. Yeah, it's not looking positive. Let's put it that way.
Well, like we were talking about, there's 4 hours left in the closure.
Yep.
So plenty of time, and we've seen them extend closures before. So it's possible. And Andrew and Dan who are here who need to do some work out at our sites and can't when the road is closed. Just in unison moaned, no. It startled me, bro. I was like, is there a ghost behind me? No. Wow.
It's just the tech people being very annoyed.
I mean, I can't blame them.
No, I can't either. Oh boy. Now we are...
I shouldn't have said it's flame time. I messed up.
Yeah, so I think we can pinpoint it to that single issue.
I blew it.
It's... yeah. Everything
no,
was
let's not
running
blow
well.
up things. No.
It's... we were so close to greatness.
We were, you know. But
Yeah,
you know
just
what?
close.
Maybe we're just at the part of the we are so back graph where we're not so back yet.
Yeah, it's so over, and now, like, once this vent stack starts again, and we are like the recondenser fires, we are so back, and there we go.
Nice. Somebody named Ryan Weber. Well, like, why? All the NSFers are super chatting today. Thank you, Ryan, for the super chat. They say it wouldn't be the same without you, Jack. I forget what we were talking about. Thank you, Ryan. Tell me in the back channel what you're talking about. Matters Now. Thank you for the support. They say I debate moon lander hoaxers. Do you think moon landings will be more successful with human pilots than the current endeavors? And where can I brush up on current technology? Good job. I mean, NSF is a great place to learn more about Starship, which is crazy to say, but it is basically the current technology for Moonlander, even though we haven't seen a Moonlander ship yet. Do we think moon landings will be more successful with human pilots? I mean, Dragon's largely automated. I do hope the HLS ship has some sort of, I don't know, manual override, so that the crew could take control if need be, like Neil Armstrong style.
Yeah, I mean, it always gives you like another layer of what can intervene in a potential problem, right? It's just a possibility. So we'll see.
Curtis
but yeah,
is
for
asking-
now, go ahead.
Whoa, whip pan.
Whoa.
The rare whip pan. Curtis is asking about Starliner. While we're waiting to see what happens with Starship, they're asking if it's scheduled for Friday. Should they rebook their flight? It's tricky. That's a tricky question. I'm sorry that you're dealing with rocket-related travel woes. It's never fun.
Yeah, I think the honest answer is we don't know. Like,
right.
And probably ULA doesn't know.
Yeah, it's, you know, if you can fly an airline that lets you change your tickets very easily, that's usually the way to go.
Yep. So that's just the situation. I mean, it's they are looking at it. They will try to probably fix it. Look at what they have to replace potentially on Centaur, and then we will see. And then they will confirm a new launch date, and then, yeah.
Let's check in on the roadblock as we get a feel for what's going on. There are some cars at the roadblock. I love that they have the trailer these days.
Yeah, the hardware trailer. The emergency everything we need hardware trailer.
I mean, hey, if I had an emergency everything we need hardware trailer, I would use it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people at NSF that would love an emergency all we need hardware trailer.
We got to come up with a backronym for it. So, road's still closed. Vent stack is active. it looked like we might have gotten an abort, or at least a hold on the ship, and we're waiting to see what happens next.
Yep, we are standing by. Again, there's potential always that these things, like, at some point they could just kick the tank farm into gear again and refuel what was lost, and then we will see what happens. There's always changes to this. There's always new things to explore. It's a fluid situation, so it is worth it to stick around until the road opens. And as long as the road is not open, the test ain't over.
That's how it goes. Flavio is asking, remember when landing a rocket is very difficult? It will never be commercially viable was a thing? Yes, I vividly remember that.
Yeah.
That was a cool shot. Go back. The orbital tank farm?
Go back.
Whole bunch of venting still from the orbital tank farm.
Yeah, I feel like that's also the point when people are saying, like, why did they focus on ship 30 instead of focusing on the next flight? Well, they are kind of also focusing on the next flight.
Yeah, they're doing multiple things with this closure, right?
Yeah, they're basically testing the stage 0 for the 4th flight test as they are also doing this. So it's not like they cannot do one or the other. They can do one and the other.
Let's see. TerraSpace is asking, is SpaceX still planning to launch a Starship prototype with 6 Raptor vacuums? Also, will they put 6 RVACs on Starship V2? Well, right now Starship has 6 engines. Eventually, I guess they'll add 3 more vacuum engines for a total of 6 vacuum, 3 sea level.
Yep, that's the V3.
Yeah,
so
version 3.
V2 still has the same number of engines, but V3 is where they get additional engines.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some technicalities about this because we technically don't know which engines V2 will use, because correct me if I'm wrong here, Alex, but Raptor 2 doesn't have enough thrust. So it needs to be at least a Raptor 2.5 for V2 to work. There's some we have a whole
Or a
video
very
about this.
downscale version of Raptor 3 at the very least.
Yeah, like there's some wonkiness in the thrust numbers for V2 and V3, where V2 could not work with Raptor 2 because Raptor 2 has not enough thrust for V2, and V3 wouldn't work with Raptor 3 because Raptor 3 doesn't have enough thrust for Raptor 3. So in theory, they would need a Raptor 4 version of Starship. So there's probably some wonkiness in that numbers. It's an interesting thing.
I really can't wait until we see version 2 hardware in the flesh rather than just like development hardware. And of course, eventually version 3. Although, again, I don't love the way the renders look. It's too stretched. It's too stretched.
It's too stretched, yeah. Imagine a Starship with like a 12-meter diameter for that one.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the best. The 9-meter version just looks cursed at that point. Yeah, I mean at ITS they really were at something with ITS. They had it there.
The number of people that are into Starship that are like, to this day, ITS, like Revenger, like we should just go back to ITS. It's so much better at 12 meters. Like, yeah, ITS was pretty great.
I mean,
The
from
whale.
from a design perspective, I love ITS. ITS is amazing.
Right.
It's so cool.
Was the whale version.
Yeah, the whale version. I love it. What's your favorite, like, that's a funny debate while we wait here for something to happen. And I'm also throwing this to chat. What's your favorite Starship variant? Like, what's your, in the step from ITS, BFR, Starship, MCT, whatever. Like, what's your favorite version? What's your peak?
That's tough.
That's some nice
Yeah, right.
painting from the orbital tank farm.
It really does give a nice backdrop to what's going on Pad B. Adrian, I think
But it's also the one that you can hear right now.
I think my favorite is kind of what they're doing now. I mean, that's almost like why I'm worried about version 3. Is because what we have now looks so cool to me. I don't really want it to change too much.
Pretty thin BFR for me. Like
what about it? Like what made you like it that
three
much?
thin. I don't know. Like the three thins make it so aggressive. The very aggressive top fins as well. Like they had these very small, very aggressive top fins. It just looked very cool. I love the three thin BFR.
Alex, there's a conspicuous silence. I hear no opinions from Alex.
My favorite Starship is the one that flies.
Of course.
A very Alex answer.
That's the most Alex of all answers.
What's your favorite Falcon 9? Is it Block 5? Is it
Definitely.
Whatever, the V1.0?
No, see, you're saying it like it's a ridiculous question. It's a completely good, like that's a good question.
Yes. I have opinions about this.
Me too.
It's Falcon 9. For me, it's version 1.2.
Really? 1.2 with the white interstage?
Yes, I love it.
See, when they made the switch from that to Block 5 in the black interstage, for a while I was like, this looks wrong. I don't really love it. And then a couple months went by and it was completely. I would look at the all white Falcon 9 and be like, okay, no, that looks wrong. So, I don't know. I mean, you do you, but
yeah, the full thrust version. I mean, by the way.
And what about
first...
V1.1 with the RCS thrusters were at the top of the interstage? That was cursed.
that was indeed cursed. But what does it say, by the way, about us that we can just recall different versions of rocket designs by our head and rate them by personal preferences?
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
That's like the perfect Christmas conversation with family.
I do like the tic-tac-toe engine arrangement. I mean, Octaweb is obviously better,
yes.
but the tic-tac-toe, there's just something about it.
I love the tic-tac-toe engine arrangement.
We took Alex making something to sound like a stupid question and then really took it really seriously. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Alex was like, "What's your favorite Falcon 9?" And Jack and I were like, "Yeah, we have opinion about this."
Well, actually,
what's your favorite shuttle?
Atlantis.
No,
Atlantis.
you need to give a reason why.
Because it did a whole bunch of classified spooky stuff, and because its name is Atlantis, and because I saw it launch in person up close from the causeway, as like a little baby kid.
Because I like Stargate Atlantis, and I'm a very simple person.
You are a very simple person. That is my friend.
It's like, yeah, I mean, you know me, man. It's like, that's all the connection I need. It's like, I like Sirius. I like Shuttle.
What's your favorite shuttle, Alex?
Endeavour.
Why?
Well, there's a few things that I like about Endeavour. It was the youngest of them all. It is also the first one that went to Hubble to repair it. Because Discovery launched it, but Discovery was really bad and launched it. It was not good. It was not good. It was not a good Hubble. And then Endeavour went up and repaired it. And then also it was also on the STS-88 mission, launching the first module of the US side of the ISS, launching Unity with the Sardia module. And so that was the first ISS mission of the shuttle. So yeah, Endeavour. Also, we have a Crew Dragon Endeavour. None of the other orbiters have a Crew Dragon that has the same name.
What's your favorite Crew Dragon, Alex? Oh, it's stopped.
Alex, the vent stack has stopped again. I'm just
sometimes
pointing this out.
It stops and comes back again. It's just a matter of waiting to see what happens next.
It's an interesting situation right now.
Interesting indeed. It's not over till it's over. And like 3.5 hours left in the window. The vent stack is good and all, but I still miss the flare stack.
I love the flare stack. I miss it so much. I wish we had it back. But
Same.
it was taken from us by a giant explosion. And after that, the vent stack was like 15 degrees tilted for a good few months.
Right.
Remember that time when there was like this vent stack just constantly tilted?
Good times.
That was good. So let's see, how is this? I'm just staring at the recondenser now. I just want the recondenser to fully spool up again. I want the tank farm to go. So we're back in flow, but it's oddly silent right now.
I'm telling you, we're on the graph. We're just not so back yet.
Yeah, we are like it's so over, but no, so back yet is next. If somebody doesn't know that graph meme, right? It's so weird what we are doing. It's honestly insane sometimes what we are talking about. There we can see the QD still being a bit frosty. And we'll see how this develops. But of course the pipes are still cold, so that's why it's frosty. It doesn't mean that they are loading right now. It could just mean that there's still some frostness in that.
Some frostness, huh?
Yep.
P-Mako Mac, thank you for the support. Amber, thank you for the support. They say hi, Jack. Echo Deal, thank you for the super chat. They should paint a big shark grin on Starship. That would be sick, like Super Mario. Make it a giant bullet ship. Do it on ship 26 and it's acceptable. Sven, thank you for the support. They say greetings from Germany and thanks for your great work. Nice.
Hey, greetings back.
How do you say their last name, Adrian?
Let me see here. Did you already click it away?
No, it's right there. It's like Sven, Flohr, Floor?
It's not displaying for me.
All right.
See.
Hang on, I'll put it in the back channel.
Yeah, no problem. But and before it's not a German name, and I will not be able to help you, Ed. Floor. I would say floor.
Nice.
On the floor. Yeah. The H is odd for me, but well.
Billy, thank you for the support. They say, would you look at that? Just look at it. Reference acknowledged.
No.
Oh, it's a really hilarious YouTube video. I'll send you a link. Timothy Wall, thanks for coming a PadRat member. Coco Cats gifting a Red Team membership. Tom V also gifting a Red Team membership, and Tom Dalton, thank you for the super chat. They say good practice toward getting multiple ships ready at one time. Yeah, I mean, action at the orbital pad and the suborbital pad and getting ship 26 ready to do something, presumably at Massey's, while finishing 29 and just everything else that they're doing. It's insane.
We can see frost starting to decrease on the ship now. You can see some defrosting going on.
Yep.
And stack also going again.
Yep. There's certainly, at this moment in time, there is certainly some detanking going on. We'll see how this develops, but as of now, they are for sure at least partially detanking the vehicle.
That's the way it goes. But once again, plenty of time left in the window today.
Yep. And with plenty, we mean 3.5 hours.
Yeah, and even if we wrap commentary at some point, Starbase Live will not stop. And once we see anything happening, of course, we would go back live. But no plans to wrap just yet because we're still waiting to figure out what's going on here. Obviously, ship detanking, but is this the end? Question mark.
We'll see.
John's
And
asking. Go ahead.
And even if this is the end for today, like, well, we'll talk if we are getting to that. There's still more closures to come this week. We have 2 more backup days coming tomorrow and Thursday.
Not bad.
It will be fun if it were tomorrow, because we also have a Starlink launch.
Or is that fun in air quotes, or do you actually mean that would be fun?
For scheduling reasons, fun in air quotes, yes.
I already have an idea how to solve this.
Hey, at least it's not, hopefully, Friday, because then we'd be conflicting with maybe Starliner.
I mean, they had to go very deep into the window for it to be conflicting with Starliner.
True, that's true.
I thought
Like
you were going to
top now.
say it will conflict with Twist.
Of course, all you can think about is Twist.
Do you mean this week in Spaceflight, the best show in the world to catch up with space news?
And NSF Live, which is also on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
You started this, Jack.
We're just plugging things now?
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
say the time for Twist, but, depending on the week, we vary a little bit. Kind of depends on how fast the edit goes.
That's Alicia appearing in the back channel saying hola. 10 a.m. plus minus 5 hours.
More plus than minus.
Norfinder is asking, will a scrub mean that there will be a delay for launch? So this is not the Flight 4 Starship. This is the Flight 5 Starship. So, no. The long pull for Flight 4 right now appears to be vehicle and pad readiness combined with the FAA mishap investigation. So, oh, hey, look, there's a firing of a Raptor on McGregor Live. Speaking of plugging things, McGregor Live exists. And you can see engine tests at SpaceX facility in McGregor, Texas.
Are we plugging the audio?
So at least one facility of
it shut
SpaceX
down,
is firing engines.
Yeah. There's been already 4 tests. And 3 of them were Raptors. So there you have your Raptor.
The info there on the top left.
Yeah.
You can see the audio scrolling by as well, like the visual waveform, which I love. So that was a Stage 2 and or Merlin engine test.
That was a Merlin. Regular Merlin.
Neat.
Yeah. Stage 2 is another stand. Yeah.
There we go. Nice. We at least got a Merlin static fire here.
Yeah, we got something.
Hey, that's something.
Thanks, McGregor Live.
Thank you, McGregor.
John's asking, why did SpaceX not test more higher altitude hops with Starship? I mean, it was kind of all in to move to the full stack, right?
Yeah, they probably figured that whatever they could have tested with high altitude tests, they just arrived at the point where the next logical step for them would be to move to these full stack tests. It's just it's just a matter of what do you think you'll learn at this point with this test, and what's the next test that brings you the best result for what you want to verify. And they arrived at that decision.
Elite's official is asking, do we think they'll attempt to ship propellant transfer on the ground before they do it in orbit? That would be kind of wacky. 2 ships hooked up to each other on the ground.
How do you do that?
I mean, the tanker ship has a drogue, right? And
But
and the receiving ship
But
has
they want to use they want to use pressure difference and vacuum like low
I mean, couldn't you
zero
just
G
press
things, right?
Couldn't you just press one starship's tanks and depress the other starship's tanks? I mean, yeah, obviously it's more straightforward in zero G. It probably isn't possible on the ground, but let me imagine this because it would be pretty cool if they did do this. I don't think they will, but I don't even think it's possible. But it's fun to imagine.
I think there's nothing to gain from this. Well, like at minimum to gain from this versus testing it in orbit. But it's not like honestly, it's not a.
Why are we
we
showing Ryan's info card?
Why are we showing Ryan?
Mr. Map
What's
Boy.
happening?
Mr. Map.
Why did that just happen?
I guess Kevin. I don't know. I blame Kevin. Okay. Yeah. Right. Anyways,
Crispy asking in the background. Somebody asked for directions.
How is the person most off the rails on today's stream not one of the three of us?
It's Kevin, right?
Yeah. How is that possible?
Also, I love the fact that Ryan's picture is a bit wider than everybody else, so this whole card is a bit wider.
Right. It's just because he's better.
Can we make this a contest, like who has the widest picture card?
Oh God. Something tells me Max would somehow win.
Yeah, Max would like submit a giant stretched wide picture. For sure.
Let's see. Nod is asking if I found a new hat. I've ordered a couple. We'll see what happens. Thank you for caring. Bill P is asking, any activity at the roadblock? Kevin, can we look at the roadblock? Looks about the same, right?
Yeah, it's still the maintenance truck. Or the maintenance trailer sitting there.
What were we calling the trailer? Emergency have everything you need hardware trailer? Something like that?
Yeah, the emergency have everything you need hardware trailer. Kevin is updating us. In fact, a bunch of cars left.
Huh.
So
They wouldn't open the road anyways just now because there's still a lot. So.
Yeah, the vehicle is not safed yet. It's detanking, but not safed.
It's detanking, not detanked.
Correct.
You got a lot.
Good question though from Bill.
Yeah.
Green Leader is asking, real thoughts on Starliner. I personally have little faith in it. I think the similar redundancy is good.
Yes.
I think it looks like a very capable vehicle. I like a lot of things about Starliner. I'm not going to hate on it. Do I wish it hadn't taken so long? And some mistakes that were made, do I wish they were not made? Of course. But I'm glad it's finally about to come online.
Yep. That's my take as well. I will just copy this take and paste it.
Ooh, you're copying him.
Yeah. At least I'm not copying his like his phrases.
Yeah, he's not stealing my bit.
You're the one stealing my bit.
This is ongoing.
Pugly Wuggly, thank you for gifting or becoming a Red Team member. And Teria also becoming a Red Team member. Thank you for that. Ethereal Swordsman, thank you for the super chat. They say, I've been slowly planning things. I'd like to build a pump-fed, liquid-fueled space shot. Would an NSFer be interested in coming up to the Midwest in a few years for that? I'm thinking 2 stages with 4 side boosters. That's crazy.
That's really crazy.
I would probably want to see that. There's NSFers in the Midwest, aren't there? Like, isn't that around where Gage is? We could send Patrick, yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew, who has been sitting over my shoulder this entire stream, and that's not weird for me at all.
You're getting like observed while doing the stream.
Oh yeah, like it's like I'm in an aquarium this entire time. Both of them have been here.
Oh God, I just saw something very cursed.
Yeah, no, don't look at that. We were arguing about favorite things earlier. Mr. Banana asked, which starship is our favorite?
Oh God, that's that's actually a complicated question. Honestly, I saw it live, so 24.
That's fair. Can we not? Can we not with the pictures in the back channel, please? My favorite starship is probably SN8, just because that was the beginning of the craziness. I mean,
there's so many people saying 26.
I mean, 26. You know, okay. I feel bad. I feel bad because I maybe might have had a small hand in starting the 26 hate club.
What? You starting a bit on the stream? No.
I mean, I don't know that it was all me. I admit I was involved, partly, you know. But yeah, I do kind of feel bad because maybe it's gonna end up doing something cool. Who knows? Maybe it's just a piece of ground hardware. I'm starting to like question my reality though. LSR in the back channel says maybe it was all you.
Yeah, it's like maybe I was involved.
It's possible I was involved.
Yeah.
Dennis is asking, do we know what caused today's abort yet? I mean, no. We're not SpaceX. We have no idea. We don't know if they're going to attempt again. We don't know if that's it for today. Well, that's kind of what we're waiting to hanging out and waiting to find out what happens.
Yeah, it's an ongoing situation, and they could restart the fueling at any moment right now. And then we are back in the flow, and everything is good. But we just don't know what's happening. It's also the matter of like, did it go? Do they need to look at it? Do they need to detank and look at it? It's a open situation, and we are just standing by here and waiting for any information.
Sean in chat is asking, why was the Hate 26 started? It was a long stream, and I was just being silly, and it was like we could cut to one camera and boo 26 because it wasn't doing anything at that point in time, and then cut to the other camera, and it was a full stack, and it was just like, boo, yay, boo, yay. I don't know, it was a fun... It was just a fun, silly thing, and then people got really like upset that we were hating on 26.
I think we also hated on it because it doesn't have flaps and the heat shield, and it just looks... Well,
yeah, it looks cursed. Although I will say, with the stringers, with all the stringers, it does look a lot better than without.
Yeah, I would have liked it more now, but it already lost its reputation. So,
I can't believe I supported you in your Ship 26 hate, Jack.
You did. You were part of.
Yeah,
okay. See, I was joking. I was joking about. I might have had a hand in its inception, but yes, it was like 99% me. But that other 1%, honestly, probably more like 20%, was Kevin. Like getting exactly what I was intending to do and cutting back and forth. It was perfect. It was perfect. And now you're like leader of the 26 fan club, Kevin.
I am. I'm president and CEO.
And can people, by the way, not boost Kevin's ego by saying in chat, oh, is that God?
I mean, when it comes to this stream, in a lot of ways right now, I mean, none of us want to say anything that would upset Kevin because he has powers. Unlike me, I never actually had powers.
What was my favorite moment ever?
I think I might have just killed Adrian.
The moment you found out you have no power.
Yep, that happened.
I love that because it was like 3 or 4 streams in a row with Bing commentary, and he's saying, "Oh, I want to mute another third person," and I tried to tell him multiple times, "No, you can't." And he was like, "No, I can. Look at this." And I was like, "You're not muting that person. What are you talking about?"
That was so great.
And we could still hear that other third person. It was hilarious.
Anyway,
Yeah, Jake. By the way,
ship 30,
by the
am I
way,
right?
there's the Starship. Yeah, ship 30. Remember half an hour ago when we said, "Oh, we are so good staying on rails today"? Oh, that was a good time.
Is that the vent on the OLM's going again?
Yeah, it's been on and off over and over and again. It's they're purging every single line.
That makes sense. They've done so much work on the tank farm lately. Brov Legion is asking, does the ship only use its flaps on descent? If so, why? I don't think it uses the flaps on ascent. So yeah, it's basically just a landing thing. And because the more they can slow down due to aerodynamic forces and drag, the more or the less fuel they have to use for a landing burn. That's part of it.
Look at that red reflection there on the right side of the ship. You see that?
Yeah, what is that?
That's irritating to me.
Can we get an enhance? Kevin, can we enhance?
You see that on the right side of the stringers below the LOX tank?
Yeah.
Is that just
It's
like
That's
a,
the aft dome.
Is that actually there, or is that some sort of artifact of lighting or the camera or encoding?
That's why we're asking for an enhance, but we're not getting it.
Enhance.
I think maybe there's no enhance right now available. Oh,
Enhance.
it's gone.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like maybe the sun is hitting the camera lens just right that it's like making a tiny lens flare.
Aww.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm so disappointed. I will get something to drink and step away for a moment.
Okay.
Is that
was
your
my-
excuse?
That was an excuse while I go now, and somebody else gonna go on stream, and I'm gonna be a bit away for a bit. That's the whole gag. Whatever.
Yeah, I heard Adrian needed to go for a drink, so luckily Ryan provided me directions to the stream.
Hey, it's the Burgonator.
Yeah, Mr. Map, yes. What's been going on then? Because I was told we were quite close to potential static fire test, and frost started melting. And the orbital launch mount vent's going, which has got nothing to do with ship 30, has it? So that's just testing the tank farm. Do we think they're gonna? I think we're just waiting for the road closure. If the road opens again, sorry, I should say, is that not enough time to recycle? Alex, what do you think?
What do you mean?
Let's pretend, right? They get the frost down, they
Yeah.
detank ship 30, the road opens, engineers the pad in say 30 minutes. Would that be enough time in the window remaining for them then to leave the pad again and then to recycle and go for the static fire test, or is it too tight for the window?
It'll be tight. It will be tight, yeah. But it will not be the first time they do something like that and then they extend the window. Like maybe instead of going to 8 p.m. it goes to 10 p.m. extending it a couple of hours to get that testing done. Because you don't only have to have enough time to do the test, but also to then detank the rocket, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's part of the process. When the road is closed right now, we're seeing that at this moment they are detanking the vehicle, and that takes a while. It takes about an hour or so to be able to do that. Perhaps more depending on what's the hurry for them. So yeah, it will be tight. Because you take into account that they have about an hour of loading, an hour of detanking, plus whatever time they spend there if that were to happen, it will be very, very tight. Because we're about 3 hours from that end of the window.
Because I'm lonely, I've got no friends, I read chat all the time. And I did notice quite a few people in chat were saying, where's the second tower going to be? And I think this is quite a good camera angle, because you can see where they've started working on taking the part of the wall down for access, I assume. I'm looking at that big pile driver thing. Is it in that area? I'm trying myself to get the bearings of where the second tower will be.
Yeah, right now it's not there because we were going to have a test fire today. So they moved it out to the near the orbit launch mount. You can see there next to the chopsticks, so to speak. It's not literally next to them. From our perspective here on this camera, it is near the chopsticks. But it is not in, perspectives play lots of tricks, essentially. But yeah, it's way far out so that they could do the static fire test without damaging that hardware. And I don't know, whenever they finish testing Ship 30, they'll probably bring it back.
Very good.
Chris, we were talking about favorite shuttles earlier, and I did not do a good job defending Atlantis against Alex's rationale for Endeavor. So,
that's easy.
If you want to give it a whirl, be my guest.
I would absolutely like to do that. Alex, how many times did Endeavour visit the Mir space station? That was an Alex sigh, knowing the answer.
Yep, it was a knowing sigh. If I was writing a script, I would have written knowing sigh in italics.
You know what the fun thing is? It is kind of, there is no best shuttle as such. If you want to go on absolute record, Discovery launched the most times. Discovery retired as a flagship. I can tell you a fun story while we're waiting, because I like fun stories.
I like fun stories.
Atlantis at the Kennedy Space Center had a lot of the MPS, which is the internal part near the engines, and the engines themselves removed. So the aft of Atlantis in the exhibit is pretty much laid bare. It's not as the vehicle retired. Endeavour is the same. They had MPS taken out for the Space Launch System testing program. They literally took parts of the shuttle out of the MPS to do testing with. Discovery, because she was a flagship, was retired as the vehicle of record. That's what they called it, vehicle of record, and nothing was removed. The engines were, because they took all the engines for SLS, but the entire internals, the MPS, main propulsion system of Discovery, is intact. So Discovery retired as the vehicle of record because she was the flagship. Oh, really, Chris? That's interesting.
No, I'm just I'm laughing at an image of the shuttle posted in our back channel, but
that's the Top Gear one, yeah. That's
right.
The Robin Ray Light one, yeah.
No, I'm always here for shuttle facts, Chris. In fact, you know this because
yes, I do.
We've been doing Shuttle Sunday. Shout out to our Shuttle Sunday show that we've been doing lately.
Yes, that is the Command Shuttle now, because that provides a playlist of the 3 shows we've done so far. We are going to stagger it, obviously. It's going to probably go on for a long series. And we'll go through eventually to some of the later missions where there's quite a lot of decent video coverage of it. And what we'll do is we'll take all of it, put it together in a package so as if it was live. And we're going to commentate on it as if it was live, as a kind of special show. Probably on an anniversary. It'd be one of the special missions like STS-93, something like that. Something fun, where it's not just like your average shuttle launch, which there's no such thing, but there were many which were quite, nominal. STS-93 was kind of like pants of your seat, if I can say that, launch, and a very interesting mission as well.
Seat of your pants.
Seat of your pants, yeah. What did I say? Pants of your seat? Oh, God.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Did I really say that? Oh, my God, yeah. Well, there you go. You see, I'm going old. Basically, it was an interesting mission. So that'd be kind of fun one to do, because we've got a lot of video footage and photographs and internal stuff. I remember STS-93 is the one with the Mission Control Center loop in the background, which you don't hear on STV, where that's where the intro comes from. Yikes, you bet concur. That was, that was literally John Shannon's flight director. who did that part. It actually said those words because the end of the launch phase, 8.5 minutes in, was like, well, we don't want that to happen again because they have found lots of things go wrong with that mission, with that launch, I should say.
I remember one of the first things you posted on our YouTube channel was like a nifty little video from L2 of the launch of 93. Wasn't that one of the very first videos on our channel?
Well, the thing, I can make it Starbase-y.
Sorry, really quick, the tower vent is going. I do want to acknowledge that. But please, yes, Chris, I was going to Shuttle 2.0 talk at some point there, but Starbase it up.
Yeah, the fun thing was that when Mary was uploading her clips into the forum, many people know this story, but I'll repeat it. Mary was taking photographs and uploading video clips into the forum, and anyone who knows about forums with PHPs and attachments knows that it just drains servers. And of course, Mary's clips were popular. Starbase was becoming popular. More and more people were downloading these attachments and hot linking them and what have you. And basically, I said to Mary, I said, can we put these on YouTube instead? Just so we don't kill the forum and kill the site because it's just like so much demand for them. And Mary said yes. So we literally started putting like clips of Starhopper, just basically before it even hopped onto YouTube on a channel. We had no ambitions of it being a big channel. It was just basically some way to relieve the forum. And then it started getting some traction because Mary's clips are amazing. So I thought, well, let's try and make it go this channel in some way. Still not thinking it'd be a big thing, but just make it more interesting. So I took some other shuttle stuff, like videos and things from L2, and just like livened it up by, alternating. So we didn't want to become like a Starbase only channel. And that's where some of the clips on the early days of the channel were uploaded by me, just from videos we had anyway. And I'm going to try and find the STS-93 one now.
I already linked it in chat. I'll do it again. I'll link
there you go. Well done. You're faster than me.
I take no credit. Alex found it.
The cool thing is, Wayne Hale, the former space shuttle manager, Wayne Hale, said, "Oh, I'm going to do an article around this then." I was like, "Wow, yes, cool," because like Wayne Hale is like a legend in the space shuttle community. So that was really cool.
Every time he writes something new on his website, I'm like, "All right, put everything aside. I'm going to sit down and read this." So vehicle significantly detanked. You can see the frost is continuing to go away. Meanwhile, the orbital side of the launch site is, dare I say, going ham. We got a tower vent. We got the OLM vent going strong. SpaceX using the road closure to get a lot of stuff done, not just with Ship 30. Got to purge them lines.
Still think that's a horse box. I'm hoping it's a horse box.
No, it's not a horse box. It has no ventilation. That would be terrible.
They might have the other side. Might have some windows with some horses' heads poking out. We should need a camera on the other side.
Well, Gene, Space Padre. He's got. I mean, I don't know if horse box is the proper term, but I do like that term. So
I've seen it. It is very ventilated. Yeah, that's unusual because normally a horse box, if you see in the UK, would be more like that. It'd look like that, maybe with a hole at the front for a window so they can look out.
Is that really the term, horse box?
Yeah, that's what I call them, horse boxes.
I mean, it's a trailer, but I kind of like horse box though.
Yeah, that's the real term for it, horse box. But I've seen Gene's. It's very aerated. It's obviously very hot down there, so it makes sense.
Oh look, Kevin's showing the 93 video.
Oh, cool! It's like a Shuttle Sunday, but on a what day is it today? Tuesday.
But yeah, the cool thing about this video is it shows you like who was sitting where and who said what in the entire exchange during launch, including Yikes You Bet Concur. So it's a really cool breakdown.
I know Scott Manley did a video on it as well because it was the gold bullet. It literally was a screw loose on an engine that rattled into the side of the nozzle and causing a leak. Said it under speed, had fuel cells playing up. Elaine Collins was its first commander. She was commanding Columbia on this mission. It was like crazy. So much going on in this one.
I will never get tired of seeing that ignition sequence.
Yeah.
We're just watching shuttle videos now on a Starbase stream. That's what we're doing.
I'm going to ask chat. We've got hours and hours and hours what's called QVIS video in L2, which is like super slow motion. Jack, you'll know. Is it 16mm or something?
The QViz specifically, I'm not sure, but yeah, a lot of the super slow motion stuff was 16 millimeter. Some of it was 35, based on my limited knowledge. But I think most was super 16.
Cool. If we put all some of the highlight stuff, because we've got like all the cameras, all the engineering cameras. I know NASA TV did one about 10 years ago where they took some QViz footage, but they didn't really do much with it apart from commentate over it. If we took a load of those unique views of like the SRB bolts exploding at super slow speed and the super slow engine ignition and things like the baggies on the mobile launch platform getting absolutely destroyed by the SRBs, would that be of interest to people? I know it's a Starbase audience, but
yes, Chris, yes, I would.
I know they're not going to say no, are they? I mean, that's the point.
I would love that. Andrew says yes, he would love it.
I'm kind of playing to Kevin Michael Reid because he's been asking us to work on this for ages. So. We could do it. If we couldn't make it work as a video, we could probably still have clips on Shuttle Sunday, couldn't we?
That's true, yeah. I mean, we're watching the development of what is in, as we have said many times, many ways, Shuttle 2.0. So I do enjoy, going back and going over the Shuttle program, especially for everybody out there that wasn't around for any of it, or might, maybe they got into this, into spaceflight from Falcon Heavy, or from Inspiration 4, or from Starship, and it's just really cool to expose people to that. And also, I mean, I said it on Shuttle Sunday, I'll say it again, seeing all of the pictures, all the historical imagery that was captured by the photographers at the time is just a treat. So I'm here for it. I think a lot of people are here for it.
Shall I probably just clarify? Can't get my words out, Jack. I'm sorry. Shall I just clarify what I mean by Shuttle 2.0? I know you agree as well, Jack. Is because the early days of development for the Space Shuttle program was very much like the Elon Musk of that day, where they had to sell the vision of literally giving up on the moon and going into low Earth orbit, almost regressing. And it was a regression, let's face it. They were going from lunar landings to basically being in low Earth orbit. That's not a step forward, that's a step back. Because remember, the option was to go to Mars, and they basically cancelled that. They sold it because they said this would be a reusable space plane. We could literally launch it every other week. And we could put so many satellites up there. We could do things like building massive space stations. We could do all this sort of things in low Earth orbit. And that's what the selling point was. It fell flat on its face when they could not do the rapidly part of the reusable promise. So this is where Starship comes in, because this has got every chance of not being the problem the shuttle had on the reusability side, because it's a much simpler design. I say that carefully, because the space shuttle was so complex. A lot of things needed to be worked on to make it work, even just on a 3-month turnaround in the processing, compared to Starship, which you can imagine landing back at the tower. They may be able just to refuel it and then send it again eventually. So that's where the 2.0 comes in, because it has a lot more promise of fulfilling those goals of reusability.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're all hoping for, right? For 30, 40 years now, that's what we're all hoping for, right? Rockhounds, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. Once again, thank you to all of our members. At Capcom level and above, you get Discord access. So you get a bunch of cool perks, the members only photos and videos, you get the members only emoji, you get a cool badge on your name in chat as you hit anniversaries, and again, Discord access, which includes the pre-show and post-show for NASA Spaceflight Live that we've started doing, which I think is really fun. So pop into Discord and say, hey, thank you, Rockhounds, for becoming a Capcom member. James, thank you for the support. They say, Pants of Seat quote needs to be in the intro of the show.
Oh, no.
Spirit Wolf, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team
Jack.
memberships. Alex, I think you're cutting out. I can't quite hear you. And Ali Demercy, thank you for gifting 50 Red Team memberships.
Oh,
Ali's
they're already at 50.
Ali's one of those names that pops up all the time as well. Thank you so much. 50 Red Team memberships. That's insane. Now 50 people get to be in on the membership program. Be sure you thank Ali in chat if you got a gifted membership. 50 people. That's crazy. So much support. Thank you, Ali.
And that's regular from Ali. I see Ali's name all the time doing these massive support things. Ali, trust me, you are not missed when we read your name out. We know who you are because I've got used to that now. I probably could mention 50, 100 names off by the top of my head of people who regularly support us, and it is incredible. So it's much appreciated.
I was just thinking that. Like, there's a large number of names that I could probably rattle off. I don't know if it's 50, but it's definitely a lot. We see so many familiar names pop up. It's just awesome, especially like the long timers. Like, I immediately think of Jerwa. What's up, Jerwa?
Yeah.
But everybody, like, it's amazing. It's amazing to see the same names pop up over and over again over the years. Very little frost left on the ship. Road still closed. Waiting to see what happens next. Let's see. Some more questions, Chris?
Yeah, have you got any? Or do you want me to read out?
I got a couple here.
Very good. Far away. If the technical, I'll just go to Alex.
Well, no, I have no idea what this means, but hopefully you will. Gareth is saying, Chris Bergen is the best thing to come out of Yorkshire since Jeffrey Boycott? Discuss.
Well, first of all, no, but thank you. Jeffrey Boycott was an absolutely amazingly famous cricketer for Yorkshire and England. I will find you a clip of him talking. He's most like honest talking bloke you'll ever meet in your life. Basically, he's like real salt of the earth, but he was an amazing sportsman. Yeah, it's cricket. I'd try explaining cricket to Americans. I might be here all night, so. But I appreciate the comment.
Baseball and dodgeball had a baby, right? That's my very, very, very rudimentary understanding as a stupid American. Okay, real questions. Shiva is asking, whatever happened to Shuttle Enterprise, Chris?
Right. Oh, we need Alicia in here, don't we?
I know, right? We do need Alicia in here.
Well, Enterprise obviously never went to space, so it becomes kind of a black sheep of the fleet. But that is also unfair because Enterprise did so much work laying the foundation for the Space Shuttle program from the alt tests, which is the approach landing tests, where they came off the back of the SCA, the 747, and did the free glide back to landing, and basically that validated that they could actually land the Space Shuttle orbiter. But also the fit checks at 39A, the fit checks at Slick 6 in Vandenberg before Discovery was meant to move there. There was so much involved. Enterprise was almost going to be converted at one point to a space-worthy space shuttle, but that plan was cancelled. That is now at the Intrepid Museum, where Elisa is. And you've ever watched our shows from the Intrepid, usually Elisa is right next to Enterprise, or Enterprise in the background of her. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And that's in New York City, by the way.
Absolutely. Who said that? LSR said it's the ship 26 of the space shuttle. That doesn't make any sense. Kanan is asking, why did they do we're just doing shuttle questions now. Kanan is asking, why did they do the first shuttle crewed? If it failed, it'd be really hard to come back, right? Yes.
Oh, my word. Yeah.
Continuous miracles interspersed with acts of God, per Commander John Young on STS-1.
There's a lot of controversy around this because you can ask many shuttle people, the space shuttle could have flown uncrewed, especially during the latter part of their career. There was a thing called the RCO orbiter, where on the ISS, if the orbiter was damaged during ascent and the decision was made to bring the crew home on the following shuttle mission, it was called Launch on Need Shuttle, advance the launch date and send the next shuttle up and bring them all home in one shuttle. They'd had the option of bringing the space shuttle back uncrewed over the Pacific Ocean for a West Coast landing, I should say. And if it failed, they could have aborted. There was also the option to do a tail-first re-entry to dispose of the orbiter. But they did have a box of tricks that they could install in the cockpit that did the two things that the space shuttle could not do on itself, which was the air data probe deploy and deploying the landing gear. Literally 2 switches. That's all that could not be done by the computers, and that's what the box would do in respect to that. So maybe they could have flown STS-1 uncrewed, but I think they just decided that it was probably too much risk to try it uncrewed. So they decided to add the crew, which is, to me, crazy. I don't think that'd ever happen again. I can't see him ever doing that again with a flight of a first vehicle. But yeah, it was Bob Crippen and John Young. And wow, I mean, you know, I'm trying to use phrases that would be acceptable for YouTube, but they were very brave. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, brave.
Sorry,
brave and many more words than I could even possibly think.
Yeah,
Continue.
I see it in chat. I was waiting for it. They had ejection seats. I do not, for the life of me, think they would have been able to use those ejection seats during launch. They would have not ended well for them. It would have been no real escape mode out of it during first stage. The ejection seats would have had a use probably during the last part of landing. Say the landing gear had not deployed, and belly flopping onto the concrete, onto the sand of Edwards would have not ended well either. So they could have probably ejected during the final part of landing. I don't for the life of me think they could have ejected during launch. It would have been pretty seriously bad for them if they had, because you can picture it yourself. You'd be ejecting into a very dynamic situation, especially with the SRBs firing and what have you.
Yeah, dynamic situation. Yeah. That's one way to put it. I'm so glad they never had to do an RTLS.
Yeah,
it would have been absolutely crazy to see.
The thing about RTLS is it's called return to landing site, and it doesn't really mean that, because
I thought it was return to launch site.
Sorry, launch site. Yeah. The problem with that is, again, my brain's not working, Jack. The problem with
Don't worry, mine either.
wording is the shuttle people I've talked to say the best case scenario for it would have been coming back over their SRB recovery ships, Freedom Star and Liberty Star, and bailing out of the orbiter, and then being picked up by those ships, being recovered from the ocean, because they thought there was very, very, very little chance of getting back to the SLS shuttle landing facility, basically. So they thought. I know Scott Manley did a KSP version where he brought it back, but I think in reality,
not a KSP one. It was Orbiter.
Oh, was it Orbiter? Thank you, Alex. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I you know, people can think it's possible, but I think, from based on what the shuttle people have told me, that the best case scenario was getting it back over the recovery ships, the SRB recovery ships out in the ocean, and then bailing out.
Yeah, and up until, what was it? I guess after Challenger, they didn't even have the bailout pole or whatever it was called.
That's right, yeah.
Can you tell I've recently recorded a video on Shuttle?
Yes.
It's a really cool machine. I'm on record as saying I really don't like the Shuttle because I really don't like a lot of things about it, but I also really love the Shuttle. It's a complex thing. It's not black and white. It's an amazing machine. Peak of human engineering. So cool. But yeah, unfortunately, tragically flawed.
I like to say I'm a Shuttle fan with the caveat of understanding how dangerous and how many things were wrong with it, because the fact that they made it work for that many missions is testament to both the engineers, the astronauts, the people working on the vehicle and what have you, and that absolutely has played in to the future of spaceflight, because I know a lot of people who worked on the Space Shuttle program who have gone off to Blue Origin, to SpaceX, to other companies as well, and they've taken that mentality of, like, we can't afford to get anything wrong with them to those other companies, and that's played in very well for those new companies. And I really do believe that the hard lessons learnt during the Space Shuttle program has put us in a good stead going forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I don't think we would be here today without the Shuttle. Let's see. Let's do some more questions. Canan Copeland again is asking, what is going on with Ship 26? It's on a new stand? They should cut it into tiny pieces and sell them to us nerds. Well, they brought a stand from Massey's to the production site, and it seems like they're putting Ship 26 on it. Alex, what the heck? What the heck, Alex?
Well, it's just testing all of the stuff for static fires at Massey's. That's the stand that they're going to be using for static fires there. So yeah, they're rolling it out probably tonight, and maybe we get some testing later this week.
There is a road delay tonight. What is
Yep.
it, midnight to 3 a.m.?
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with Ship 26. Some kind of testing at Massey's, perhaps.
Can I ask Alex what he thinks they'll be doing with Ship 26? I mean, why? Why would it be using this strange vehicle, and what benefits would that bring by testing it?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably not good to put a very precious piece of cargo or vehicle on a very experimental pad that has not been tested yet. That's my take.
That's interesting.
Ship 26 is not configured for flight, so it doesn't have any of the recent updates. It has not been upgraded or anything like it. It's very old by a lot of accounts. So it's most likely not flying. But hey, if it works as a ground test vehicle, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And it's still the best ship.
Oh, come on, Kevin.
Hi, God.
That's amazing. Part of me just wants to argue with you, but I'm trying to reform and not hate Ship 26 as much.
It earned some brownie points with me when it did that in-flight engine test. I thought, oh, fair enough, that's different. That's good. That's good, interesting. A lot of people still, I say a lot of people, some people still think it's a tanker. And it's not, is it, Alex?
Conspicuous silence.
No, Chris, it's not.
Yeah, maybe we caught him.
It's not a tanker.
There you go.
So I was taking a little bit of a drink because
Oh, sorry.
my throat is already dry.
There's me throwing questions at you.
Yeah, Demian in chat is saying tanker is reusable, which makes sense. I guess the right word would be depot, but I also don't think it's a depot. Let's see. A friendly Starbase worker is asking me specifically what shuttle flights had a white external tank. That was STS-1 and STS-2. Everything after that had orange. It's orange, right, Chris?
That's correct. Yeah. They saved quite a lot of upmass by taking the paint, by not painting it. Basically, £600 of paint or something stupid. But the main reason for the painting was not just aesthetics. It wasn't to make it look good. It was also because they were concerned about solar radiation on the tank, so they thought to protect it from it. But then they realised it wasn't a big deal, so we didn't need to paint. So they didn't bother painting them and left it with a stuffy foam, leaving it orange. And the fun thing about the external tanks was they leave Michoud quite creamy, almost creamy white, when they leave Michoud in New Orleans, and then they tan over time and become more and more orange.
Just like me.
Orange.
Let's see. I like how we have this view with all the venting from the orbital side, plus like sneaky Ship 30. Andrew, why are you sending me reels? I'm on stream right now. I know you're laying on the couch, like comfily behind me, but yeah, no, we're live. I'm live right now saying this to you. Oh, that's a pretty cute reel. Sorry, guys. I've got Andrew over my shoulder.
We heard him faint laughing live on air. So what are we thinking here? Because obviously we can stare at this vehicle for the next 5 hours and not a lot seems to be going on. I'm wondering at which point we think, well, they're probably going to try again tomorrow, maybe.
Well, we're about an hour away, an hour and change away from when we thought something was going to happen, and we saw what looked like an abort on the ship. Whole bunch of venting. Vent stack came on. They detanked. You can see the frost is like almost gone now. So, I mean, there are, what, 2.5 hours left in the window, but at this point they're testing the orbital side like crazy. It seems like 30 is done, but the road's still not open, and that could just be because they're doing all that testing on the orbital side. So, I mean, we could stay live until the road opens. We could, I guess we could throw to SBL and watch for the road opening there. Because, I mean, at this point, I do not think we're going to see anything else with 30 right now. Although, if we did, and, you know, we can always just go live again.
Yeah.
All right, well, really quickly, I will thank some more support that's coming in. Jay Flaherty, 13, thank you for the support. They say, when are they designing Raptor 4 stubby version? Never. The answer is never.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
D.A. Swanson, another familiar name, gifting a Red Team membership. Thank you. James Yeomans, thank you for the support. They say, Ship 26 will fly at the pants of the seat. And SN15, the best ship ever. Thanks for the support. They say, if I ate bacon next to a super massive black hole. That's what it says. I'm not sure what it means, but that's what it says. Thank you for the support. All right, well, at this point, let's all go hang out at Starbase Live and see if anything else happens today. We can always spool up commentary back again, but plenty of additional closures this week, plenty of opportunities for SpaceX to get this testing done. Chris, thanks for jumping on.
No, my pleasure.
Alex, also thank you for being on.
Also a pleasure. And hopefully tomorrow we get an actual fire. I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully.
We'll see when they do another attempt.
And Mr. Michael Reed, thank you for being on. I thought I could get him to talk.
I know, I thought that as well.
Ship 26 sure stinks, huh, you guys?
I hear the outro.
26 is the best ship.
There he is.
Oh, there you go.
There he is. And of course, we had Adrian on earlier. And I'm Jack. You know that. Everybody knows that. I'm the annoying one. Let's all go watch Starbase Live and see if anything else happens for today. But until something interesting happens, we'll see you next time.
I mean, you know we're going to watch Ship 26, right?
No, we're not.
You say that, but it's like I am getting ready to eat some food and then drive out to Starbase and get cameras set up. Really, Mr. Kayak? Really? That's what you're going to put in my info card? Really?
I actually didn't do that. That was Ryan Caton.
Oh, Mr. Maps.
No, Mr. Map?
Mr. Map Boy. Okay.
But yeah, I have to go set up cameras for 26 rolling if that's what's going to happen tonight. So, fun! Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Let's go hang out at Starbase Live.
And here we go.
We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, Atlantic.
Water towers fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside FD off. Say again, FD off. Off. It's orange! 145! Oh my god! Oh my god! Decollage! Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
methane would be igniting the flare, correct?
Yikes. You good? Sure. We don't need any more of these.